Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Broke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. Swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Trade it in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gon' end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recap, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, trend. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin and crypto ecosystems. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and this one is going to be amazing, guys, because I truly believe that you are not bullish enough. I truly believe that with the DXY dropping, with gold on the move, with the M2 money supply building with that 12-week lag, we are about to see some upward momentum that's going to shock the world. And I truly believe that. I truly believe Bitcoin is going to catch up to gold. Bitcoin is going to just absolutely hammer gold in the future. And it's going to start now. It's going to start in these days. And I think if we're patient enough, if we can really look for like really good incentives and things to kind of build off what is happening right now with everything else, I truly believe Bitcoin is going to rocket, and then everything underneath it. I mean, I'm talking, Ethereum, Bitcoin, runes, everything else underneath Bitcoin are going to really, really move, and they're going to move quick. And you might not have time to think, right? So it's the time to strategize, the time to prioritize DCAing, I truly believe, is right now. And I don't think you have much time. I truly don't think you have enough time here. So without further ado, let's bring my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's going on, man? How you feeling? Pretty crazy what is happening with gold and the DXY, and Bitcoin should be next, right?
Should be. We'll see what happens, but yeah, DXY is going down. Typically, it's a reverse indicator in terms of when it goes down, Bitcoin goes up. But people are definitely pouring into gold, and we'll see if Bitcoin can take that next step as that safe haven asset that we all believe it is, at least us in the space. So there's some things that are happening, like with China increasing the tariffs overnight on the US. I truly think that there's going to be something that gets worked out sooner than later. And once that happens, I think we get more stability.
Yeah, I agree. How are you feeling for the short term with the crypto markets?
Until we get that stability, though, I think
Yeah.
it's gonna play as like, you know, one day up, one day down, one day up, one day down until you know, throw in a big headline in there, right? And then until there's this consistency of, you know, stable, like, I guess, geopolitical and economic conditions. I don't think we're gonna see like a consistent, uh, you know, uptick, right? But
Yeah.
I think the current administration knows that, and you know, people might say, "Oh, this current administration with Trump being in, you know, at the head of it, he's probably gonna be stubborn and all that stuff." I actually disagree. I think sometimes he might look that way, but he's a businessman at the end of the day, so he knows that like if he's behind a step or two in a deal or anything like that, he's gonna reverse because at the end of the day, if you let your ego control
Yeah.
that, you lose more than you can possibly gain by, you know, correcting a move or, you know, taking a step back.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Let's jump into some macro data. We got some this morning. We got the PPI, the producer price index. So it plunged. PPI misses across the board as inflation cools faster than expected. So here's the numbers right here. PPI year over year was 2.7. It was expected to be 3.3. Insane. And then the expected core PPI. So the only difference between core PPI and regular PPI is they take out volatile assets or volatile, I guess, what would be the word for that? Volatile. It's oil and food. So they take
Yeah.
out oil and food from the PPI and then created the core PPI, which is expected to be 3.6, and it actually hit 3.3. These numbers are drastically lower than expected.
They're good numbers, but I remember saying, you know, a couple days back that they're going to be, you know, they're not going to be accurate if these tariffs continue, right? If this tariff situation continues, this is kind of like I think that's why the you know, knee jerk reaction hasn't happened on the upside today is because, you know, this is good, but what's
Yeah.
going to happen if these tariffs continue? You know, these are numbers are not going to look like this, you know. And so with that being said, I am in the optimistic camp to where I think things start to get smoothed out, deals happen, and we start to get more stability, whether that takes a week or 3 weeks, and hopefully not longer than that.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I mean, Jerome has to be looking at this. He is saying that, inflation is going to be transitory because of what is happening. And I remember last time he kept saying transitory, Bitcoin was loving it, right? Bitcoin couldn't stop. And now he's using that word again. But these, not like, there has been tariffs in Q1, right? Like Trump came out immediately and put some tariffs in effect, right? Or no?
No, it was the threat of tariffs with Canada and Mexico, but that also, you know, swung the market back and forth and all that stuff, right? So that's why I'm talking about in terms of stability. That's what the markets really, really want right now. That's
Yeah,
why I think once we do get stability, though, we haven't had it in so long that it's like perfectly primed for like a really aggressive push up. So I think the current administration knows that too, right?
yeah,
And so getting this sorted out, like Jerome Powell is probably looking at the PPI and saying, "Hey, this is good, but you know, imagine if we could get things ironed out in the next week or two. You know, then next month's PPI won't look horrible. But if that doesn't happen and these tariffs continue and they actually go into like the cost for the companies, PPI is going to look nasty."
yeah. We'll see. What are you expecting? Next month's PPI. Are you expecting it to be like 3.6, which was expected this time?
If things get ironed out in the next 2 weeks, which I know
Yeah,
that's wishful thinking, I don't think it gets affected that much because China had said the goods
yeah,
that were shipped out, I think, before or getting shipped out before next Monday won't or sorry, to China, I think maybe yeah, to China won't go into effect for the tariffs increase until after next Monday, I believe. So like that, so in my opinion, it's kind of like, okay, the US has implemented it, but if you know it only lasts for, I don't know, let's say like a week, and then they pause it and then they come to an agreement. I just think like that much of the goods will go into the calculation, right? And
yeah,
also it will probably not show up, in my opinion, until June, right? Because you know, right now everything that they've gotten up to this point, it might show up in May, some of it. So my whole point that I'm
yeah,
making though is that like if we can get things ironed out sooner than later, like 2 weeks maybe, and pause things, then this PPI won't look as bad. It will be higher, in my opinion, but it won't be as crazy. But
And
I mean, that's what matters, though, is like if
Yeah.
we can get like a resolution or at least a pause.
So you're basically saying if a deal, a deal from China and the U.S. to kind of say, hey, let's drop these to
Or
25%
pause.
even, or pause. Pause would
Yeah.
work too. Yeah. So China hits the U.S. with 125% tariffs overnight. S&P slips, Bitcoin and gold climb. Chinese President Xi Jinping says there's no winners in the tariff war. Going against the world will only lead in isolation. He went on, I think, Chinese television this morning for us, but last night for them. But yeah, he's coming out. You know, he's making it seem like he definitely does want to make a deal.
I agree with that. But also it's not in the culture to kind of be like, okay, look, and you do see some of the Asian countries saying, hey, we're gonna come to you and make a deal, like the smaller countries like Vietnam and Japan. And I think that because China is, a top 2 world power, they can't show that, right? So I do think the rhetoric, if this is all legitimate and it's not like, a big grand plan or scheme, then I think the rhetoric needs to probably chill out from our side as well, and just be like, hey, let's figure something out behind the scenes, because like the markets are going to just continually suffer.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. I want to show the poly markets thing real quick here. So poly market, yesterday we showed this, and it was an 80% chance of no change and 15% 25 BPS. So today it's 20% now and 74%. This even got a little higher. And then in the June one, so that was May, and then in the June one, we're seeing a 54% chance of a 20 BIP now and a 37% of no change. Yesterday, this was 43% no change. So we're seeing poly markets little by little, actually going in the favor of it's almost, 54% chance. I mean, that's pretty big. This could be 60, 70% by the time we actually get there, even 80.
It could, but these markets, the poly market could change off of one headline, so
You're right.
one way or the other. The closer we get, we'll get more details. It was just kind of like the election, if you remember last year, like it swung. It was an emotional roller coaster because it's like, oh my gosh, now he's losing. He needs to stop doing this and that, and then now he's winning, or So I feel like it's very similar to that, to where headlines can really change it drastically. But you're right. Obviously, the PPI numbers did something here.
Yeah, for sure. Amen. All right, you ready for the next chart? This one's a fun one. So the M2 money supply is trending up, and history holds Bitcoin could follow with its typical 10 to 12 week lag. So this chart is is absolutely insane. Obviously, goes back to 19, let's go 86 for this one. But it's just been on an upward momentum, and then you've seen this giant push up in 2020. We kind of balanced out here in, I want to say, 2022, and then been sideways since. But we are now rising back up, guys. So this is about 12 weeks ago. We really started to move up here. This is why people are thinking Bitcoin is about to follow this extraordinarily. So we will see. But what do you think, man? It looks insane when you look at it like this.
It goes to show how much liquidity was injected into all the countries during COVID.
Yeah.
And man, that was a lot. So with, and that inflated a lot of currencies. But yeah, the trajectory, Bitcoin follows it. It's still, pointing up, and that it always has. If you look the past, right, it's always going towards up. But we'll see if this plays out, because there's different variables in play here, right, with all the macro and trade and all that stuff. But if we can get that resolved, I think trade is obviously the big thing. If we can get that smoothing out, and that's not like the hot topic every single day, then I think we get back on trajectory of QE, and then like the snowball effect of M2 money supply heading into summer, getting to more bullish environment. Because it's there. It's just some things need to get ironed out first.
100%. This next headline is a little outdated now. It wasn't originally, but gold reaches a new all-time high of 32.20. But then you saw this rocket of a candle here as well. So actually, this is the weekly. So let's go back down to the daily. But yeah, you see, look at these candles, bro. This is gold right now. The last
Crazy.
3 days have been extraordinary for gold. Everything's, dude. Bitcoin follows gold. Bitcoin follows the M2 money supply. Everything is saying we're about to explode. Every chart is saying Bitcoin's about to rip.
Every chart, but gold's been kind of like, it's been an upward trajectory. There was that period of like 4 or 5 days in a row.
This
those
was
big-
the Liberation Day.
Okay, that makes sense. But it also kind of shows that the old heads, the old money this is what they know,
Yeah.
and we're not in that. We haven't changed. The old guard hasn't changed out yet. That's being worked on. You got like BlackRock and stuff like that are buying Bitcoin, but we probably have 5-10 years, in my opinion, to where it flips, or at least like competes really hard with that. And so everybody's just kind of going to their lifeboat and they're picking gold right now. But
Yeah.
Bitcoin, I think, will follow the trajectory.
Do you think gold keeps going up, or do you think we kind of it kind of settles down a little bit? Do you see gold just continuously ripping here?
I have no reason to not think that.
Yeah.
If you look at the trend over the past 3 months, I mean, it's been an upward trajectory. Actually, longer than that, past 6 months. Really, there was that dip
January.
in November, but other than that, like it's been going up.
Yeah, you could actually extend this potentially down the year, honestly, and then bring this over to, for sure. I mean, with a little bit of a downtrend there and then back up above it, for sure. Pretty crazy. Peter Schiff's having a grand old time. I mean, finally his investment is paying off, right?
Yeah.
So-
yeah. His posts have been very interesting as well. Almost
Yeah.
kind of sounds like anti-American, but anyways.
Whoa.
Yeah.
BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says U.S. is very close to a recession and may be in one right now. So a recession is indicated by 2 negative GDP quarters in a row. We haven't had one yet.
Is that still the definition?
Well, they changed it a few times, but if you look in the book of what it's supposed to be, without Elizabeth Warren's opinion, then you would say that it's 2 negative GDP points in a row, or quarters in a row. What do you think? Do you think we're going to get a negative GDP quarter?
Oh, maybe because the consumer volume has gone down, right? So it's going to be interesting, though. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully not, but because just slapping that title of being in an official recession is not good. But
not at all. But the next thing, I actually have something really positive here. So 48,000 Bitcoin worth 3.6 billion moved into accumulation addresses on April 9th. So today is the 11th. So that was about 2 days ago, marking the largest single day inflow since February 1st of 2022 per crypto quant. We do know that was right before the pause, right? So April 9th, the big boys were coming in. So I went and looked up what are accumulation wallets. So accumulation addresses are wallets that receive Bitcoin without spending it, indicating long-term hodling behavior. Accumulation wallets rarely sell, built to hodl through chaos. Potential owners of accumulation wallets: institutions, whales, early miners, custodians, and possibly even sovereign entities staking silently. What do you think about this? And I have a chart to kind of go with this if you want to take a look at this. So this is it right here. These are accumulation. This line here is basically the accumulation wallets just shooting up. And you can see when Bitcoin's rising, they don't really buy. But when Bitcoin dips, especially the last couple days here, they've been just ripping the amount out of exchanges and putting them in their accumulation wallets.
Yeah. Oh, so the blue lines, that is.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
This is coming off exchanges into accumulation wallets.
Well, this is good. This is good because this will eventually build into kind of what we were talking earlier about gold. and how people will, reach to that, that safe haven, that lifeboat, that lifesaver. And the more that we have this, and it's also, like you said, whales buy dips, not rips. And we're seeing it live in action.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about 48,000 Bitcoin? It's getting ripped off exchanges. I don't think if in a bull market, if this continues, I don't know where these exchanges are going to get this Bitcoin from. Like you're going to see a supply shock, dude. You're going to see it.
Yeah, but there's going to be a point where the supply shock will come. Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure where they're going to buy it. They'll find ways to get it, right? But it's just going to push the price up.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot. So the next one's pretty cool. So top Bitcoin miners produced nearly 800 million worth of Bitcoin in Q1. So people that are saying like, oh, the miners, we got to support the miners. The miners are making dough. The miners are, I mean, obviously it's the top ones, right? It's Mara, it's Riot, it's Bitfarms, it's Core Scientific, CleanSpark, BitDeer, Iran, Hut 8, and Cypher Mining. They're 9,746 Bitcoin between the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So pretty crazy. What do you think about this? Should we be supporting the miners and giving them our Bitcoin to kind of help them out with fees?
I mean, we don't really have a choice, right? If we're gonna participate.
I mean, they don't really need our fees.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I mean.
Well, okay, so I think that this is definitely like a big number, right? 800 million. I wonder what the margin is in terms of electricity and all that stuff. That's what I would want to know, because like as a business owner, like I think, what 800 million, that sounds like a lot, but split between all these, I'm curious what the margin is. Obviously, like these big companies wouldn't do it if they didn't make money. But, whenever Bitcoin's not necessarily, at those higher prices, how much are they actually making in terms of profit? But yeah, I mean, they're fine, right? They have huge investment. Most of these are public anyways. So they'll be A-okay with or without our extra Bitcoin. So, yeah.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like why people think we should support the miners. Because the miners make no cash until they sell the Bitcoin, right? So they're obviously not selling the Bitcoin right now because you're not seeing a lot of downward pressure. So they're holding it, and so I just don't see how we need to support the miners. Like I think all that kind of stuff, especially back last year, where everyone needs to run, their own node and all that shit. I think that's all, propaganda, Bitcoin propaganda. I don't think we need to do that. I think we're okay. I think the miners are going to be okay.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
All right. So New York introduces a new bill to allow the state of government to accept cryptocurrencies as form of payment. So this is New York. This is not Texas. This is not Pennsylvania. This is not Florida. This is one of the biggest cities in the world. Democratic as crap, right? I guess we can say that, because this is not normal for New York and California to do this type of stuff. But you're seeing New York at least putting the bill out there to get voted on. What do you think? Does this pass?
I wouldn't be surprised if it does, but they definitely were not crypto friendly. You couldn't even actually access, I think, Coinbase without like a VPN or something, if you were in the city. So this is showing that there's major changes, right, from even like the most anti-crypto states in the US. And so this is a big, sign, a bullish sign, in my opinion, that they're going to start accepting payments, right? So this is big win for crypto as an industry.
And they're not even Uber friendly, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this they like to control everything. So they can't control crypto, but I don't know. I doubt this gets pushed through. I would say 70-30. That does not get pushed through. What do you think?
Maybe a little bit closer to even, but we'll see.
Yeah.
The fact that it's even, being presented, I think is a cool thing, but we'll see. We'll see. We're going to find out if, they've 100%. Changed their tune on it, at least.
Yep. So New Hampshire House passes BTC reserve bill. This is a big deal. New Hampshire becomes the second one behind Texas. So Florida, I can't remember if Florida passed it.
I think they did, or they were about. Okay, they were about to.
Yeah, so New Hampshire joins the Texas and Florida club here. Where the hell is New Hampshire? That's what, probably
Close to
northeast,
you.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I have no idea where it is, but yeah. So yeah, go ahead, New Hampshire, do your thing there. And the next thing here is I had a good thing for this. I think it's right here. All right, so BlackRock reported 84 billion in net inflows for Q1, including 3 billion into digital assets. So that's a lot. 84 billion for one quarter poured into BlackRock. But only 3 billion of that was Bitcoin, and there's tiny bit of ETH in that. So what are you thinking? Are people getting are people getting really bullish here? Are they like, I mean, they're investing. They're putting their money to work, or do they think they're just trying to get out the dollar?
I think so. This is the first year with the ETF, or actually 2024 was, right? But like we've passed that year mark. So 3.5%, 3.5% for the first year. Not too, I mean, it's not a lot, but like I'm not surprised. $3 billion is a lot of money, but 84 out of 84 billion, 3.5%. I think that's a fine, that's a good start. And you have to remember these are clients that are very safe-minded type of clients that, their representatives and stuff try to get them in really safe stuff, maybe add a little risk. The Bitcoin ETF was that. And so I think it's fine for like the first year. We'll see next year if, that doesn't increase, stays around the same. And I think that's maybe we're like, okay, they're not really feeling it, but I do see it increasing because there's going to be more products available.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Definitely agree. All right. Let's kind of get into that Bitcoin fear and greed here. So we got a little ahead of ourselves yesterday. All right. So I'm just gonna say it like that. We started to really ramp up after, I guess, the pause, right? And then we started to get a little greedy. So yesterday we were at a 39. Last week we were at a 28. Last month we were at a 34. So yesterday's 39. We're way lower than that. We're back in extreme fear.
Wow.
We're lower than 30 would be my hint for you.
28?
Pretty close. We're at 25.
Wow, I didn't expect that.
So yeah, I'm actually in shock. I actually can't believe it. But let's look at the chart here on the 7-day, and you can see, we got kind of bullish here, and then we're kind of marking our way back down here. So, but yeah, man, not liking it. Hoping for a very what would you say you're hoping for the weekend? Before we look at the price chart and everything, what would you say you're kind of hoping for this weekend to look like in terms of Bitcoin price action?
Some stability.
Yeah.
Right. Which on the weekends you kind of get that, at least for Saturday. Heading into
Sunday,
the weekend.
Not.
Yeah, Sunday, typically Sunday evening is whenever it gets volatile again. But I'm hoping that like we get stability heading into the weekend, and Sunday, kind of reassess everything and see what happens, but obviously, positive price action, everybody wants that, right? But more than anything, I think it's more of some positive news from the headlines, some positive movement with this whole trade situation, which then will trickle down into stability into even our markets, which are considered risk on type of market, right? But that's what I want. Like, if I could get anything, would be stable crypto market, but because of some positive headlines. Consistent.
No, I agree. Yep. Let's hop in right into it. Let's see where Bitcoin's doing and what you think we're gonna do. So let's hop into it. This is Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Autura Finance. Autura, these guys are going to mainnet really soon, and they chose Hemi to go to mainnet with. Hemi is a layer 2 of Bitcoin, and they are backed by Binance. Binance is probably going to list their token if they have one, because that's what normally they do when they back a project, especially as big as Hemi is going to be. But you guys can actually get access to Hemi through Autura. When you go to Autura.finance in the future, when they do land on mainnet, you'll be able to use Autura and potentially earn the Hemi airdrop. So that is going to be amazing. But on top of that, you'll also be potentially earning the Autura airdrop. So guys, I highly recommend when Autura goes live on mainnet, you guys hop in and just start playing around, right? Small bets, small leverage. Just do as many transactions as you can, and kind of get that Hemi, get that Autura airdrop. I mean, airdrop farming is very profitable here in crypto, and I want our community to be the guys who make off like that huge. So shout out to Autura, and guys, you can go to Autura.finance right now and play on Botonics, which is the spider chain. It is in testnet, so you guys can actually paper trade. I highly recommend you guys doing ETH, Tau, and XRP. Maybe short XRP. No, I'm just kidding. But I highly recommend you guys just going over there, paper trading, get that $10,000 paper trading money, going pretty crazy, go some high leverage, learn what not to do, but do it on Autura.finance today.
Yep. And also, guys, if you guys could help us out on the YouTube side, smash that like, subscribe to the channel, make sure you turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, guys, please share the space. It's very important so we can educate, onboard as many people to crypto and the Bitcoin ecosystem as possible. And on the abstract side, guys, if you could share that stream, we would greatly appreciate it. But let's get into some Bitcoin price action here. We'll start with the hour chart, as I always do. I will say this: Bitcoin is kind of trying to figure out what it wants to do today. It's been a bit, back and forth, really. Overnight, China came out and said they increased the tariffs towards the U.S. So I imagine, okay, that's probably going to be bad, and we're going to have a downtrend today. But coming off of yesterday, we actually had a downtrend kind of after the show yesterday, heading into the night, and then we built up a bit of an uptrend, right? And so, whenever the bell rang, we actually had a big green candle up, and then a red candle, right? So right now it seems like it's building back up. So it's really kind of confusing of where Bitcoin's trying to go for today. And you can see the indicator on the MACD is kind of showing it's weakening here for the buy pressure. So you would think that it wants to go back down, and kind of coming out of an uptrend. You would think, if there's not any huge positive news, we'd probably start a downtrend, right? And you can see here the stochastic RSI is coming out of overbought as well. So I mean, things to me kind of point towards a downtrend, but I've been thinking that for the past like 3 or 4 hours. And although there's been signs of the sell downs happening, it just keeps chopping back and forth, regardless. So that's why I feel like there's this kind of uncertainty with Bitcoin's price action right now for the rest of the day. And market makers, they're going to try to push it one way or the other. So looking at liquidity pockets is going to probably be very important for a day like this, because eventually Bitcoin always does turn one way or the other to start a trend. But if I had to say where I think it would go, I'd probably think it would probably downtrend a little bit, because we did buy all the way back up to 83.3, right? And you had the bad news from the tariffs from China, and then you had some good news with PPI. So it's just kind of like, what do we do here? There's like no formula to kind of look at and say, okay, this is where it's going to head, except for these indicators, which to me kind of show that it wants to go a bit down. And going off of the previous pattern of the previous overnight, late evening overnight going up, a downtrend would seem likely, but I don't count out going further back up. So that's what I'm seeing with Bitcoin's hour chart. If we go here on the 4 hour, it actually looks pretty damn good, honestly, the 4 hour chart, right? But because that hour chart does kind of look like it's weakening and stuff, this definitely could change the MACD over here to break down a little bit. But just first glance, the 4 hour actually looks pretty good. You can see, like, we have been in overbought for a while, and stochastics not really making it back, a trip back down to the oversold territory since Monday of this week. And so maybe it's time that we do head back down. The hour chart will kind of take us down there. But yeah, I mean, just first glance, it looks pretty decent right now. But that hour chart can really change this. So I think the next 6 hours, this could possibly look very different. This could break down, and then we could start into sell pressure. But as of right now, it looks okay. And if the hour chart does, it continues to go up, if it continues to go up, we're at 82.3. We were just at like 81.5. We got all the way down to 81.3. So if this continues to go up, maybe this does, put us into this positive price action into the weekend, which on Saturday I don't expect anything crazy unless there's a big bombshell headliner or something like that. So we got to kind of wait and see.
And TradFi loves double bottoms, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's like one of their biggest indicators, and you're seeing one right there. Do you feel like that could be a double bottom in your eyes?
I mean, we got a double bottom right here, 1, 2, and then chop though. So sure, if
Yeah.
it was a shorter time frame, but like this is a lot of back and forth here on the 4 hour. You're talking about in a span of 2 days almost after the
Yeah.
double bottom, and
I
maybe
think that's
this breaks out.
pretty usual, though. I
Maybe
think
maybe this
chop after
breaks.
double bottom.
Maybe this breaks out. We'll see. We're gonna see. Looking at like this is the 5-minute degen, kind of look for a position chart. This is weird. This is so weird to me that like, okay, we had this uptrend, and then like you had the news overnight, and then this was the TradFi or like the 9:30 bell, and then after the 9:30 bell, sells down pretty drastically, right? You can see here, and then like, okay, so no continuation of a sell down, so no downtrend has started yet. So it's just kind of do you see where I'm kind of it's hard to kind of get a feel of where it wants to
Yeah.
go for the rest of today. But anyways, the weekly chart, getting back to this because this one's really important. I've been really harping on this because want to make sure that we at least stay in this upper part of the channel, the mid part of the 50-day EMA channel on the weekly chart for Bitcoin. And it looks like there's a bounce back here. So if we do continue up, and maybe we get back to 80, I don't know, 85, 84, 85, we're going to break up above this and we can maintain that. Or we can see something similar to what we saw here in 2021 after that first like rise up, which can kind of just keep us here for about 2 months and then bounce back out. But I don't expect that because that was a manipulated bull market, if you remember. But yeah, so we're looking pretty decent on the weekly for Bitcoin. Switching over here for the others chart, everything outside of the top 10 and Bitcoin looking decent too. This is very going to be determined upon Bitcoin and the majors really, but looking okay, surviving for sure. Want to get back into this channel though, but looks like it is breaking down. The sell pressure is breaking down here, and we look like a pretty good setups coming here in the next couple of weeks for alts. So that looks pretty good too. Crypto bubbles on the hour looks pretty good. The day looks really good. Fartcoin is just crushing it with these farts at 28.7% increase.
Wow, bro.
I mean, goodness gracious. Like, who is behind Fartcoin? Seriously, I'm starting to like really wonder what's going on there. Yeah, everything else looks decent too. A lot of meme stuff, 4.5% with Doge. You're seeing Bonk up 10.5%. Some other majors here, Souls up 8.8%. Hype up 10.7%. So some pretty big wins on the daily. The weekly looks pretty red, but god dang it, Fartcoin 98%. Okay. All right. Enough of this, guys. All right. Yeah. So that's what we're seeing for these alt bubbles.
Oh yeah, man. All right. Let's kind of get into today's roll call. Great job on that, man. All right. Let's kind of bring up my chart here. Who was first today? Who was first? And it's the legend himself. It's Danny. Danny, bro, you are just killing it, man. You just won't let anyone get close to you. Good for you, man. You are rocking Nuki in your thing, but this Friday. So Danny won on Wednesday. But Lucky Lukey had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So this is the Danny Lucky Lukey show here. So add Danny here, and we'll give you your 1-5. Congratulations on 15. The first one to 15. Congratulations, my boy. Shout out to Danny, man. But guys, this is anyone's game. Anyone's game, guys. We still have over at least 150 days left in this year. So if you don't know what this is, we take it all the way back to the first. So the first comment of every live show. It is only the live shows. It's not the records. It's not the shorts. None of that. It's only the live show. The first comment of the live show gets put in here. And this is going all the way to January 1st. So, yeah, shout out to you guys, man. Everybody who makes this list is an absolute legend. We appreciate you guys. But, yeah, man, let's get it. All right, let's take a look at who else made roll call today because you guys still matter. Shout out to you guys. And then in the number 2 spot was Lackey Lukey. He was 1 minute behind our boy Danny. And Danny boy locks it in with a super chat. We don't know if it works or not. Danny doesn't know if it works or not, but hey, it might. But shout out to Danny locking it in. Appreciate you, my friend. He said, sorry, Lackey, I can't let you catch up that fast. And then Lackey Lukey's calling the Reaper. I love the comments in here, man. It's awesome. And Lackey Lukey said, super chat doesn't work. And Danny said, really? It has for me every time I'm, yeah. So it didn't work that one time. It might have been twice. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know. But so far, so good. So shout out to Danny. The Reaper really doesn't come around that much as he used to. I remember before, especially last year, he's come around.
I mean, we still have no idea like what controls that, which is wild. Like,
yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
But hey, it's part of the game, right? So
it is.
Webdro said Danny Boy pulling ahead, Lucky Lukey coming up fast, Webdro in bed. Shout out to Webdro. Malam Yuri is here. Shout out to Malam. Super fan every single day with your GMs, bro. I really appreciate you here, man. And we have Pelpa here, Yo Gang. Nighthawk, our guy out there in LA. Making sure everyone gets home safe. Shout out to you, my friend. Says GM, too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Only up from this point. I love it. I love it. MoChain is here. He says, my boy's live. I have to come and say hi. I appreciate it. Really appreciate your comment. You are an absolute legend. MoChain. And then we have Pelpa's here. Shout out to Pelpa. Says, Nighthawk UXL. We going to 250K from here. Strap in. I think you're not bullish enough. I think we go to 700, but we'll see. As we get closer to the end, saying that 700 is harder and harder, but who knows what could happen next year, you guys. Steamy J is here. Mr. Sheedy. Shout out to Mr. Sheedy, our guy, man. Appreciate you, my friend, being here today. Chief Axel's here. Patty Pooh, the Bitcoin machine himself. Appreciate you, my friend. Mempool Punk, like every single day. Appreciate you, my friend, as well. Mr. Sheedy says, miners and nodes are equally important. One is useless without the other. You should support node operators and solo miners. That's what makes it truly decentralized. I agree to an extent. I think, a couple solo miners here, a couple nodes here isn't really going to make a big difference. These guys control 99.9% of the hash rate, the top 10, right? So,
it's not. So your kind of perception is more towards like the big boys, right? Not necessarily these smaller miners or
they have 99%. So,
yeah.
How are we?
And they're rich. They're rich already, right?
And Larry Fink probably owns half of them, right? So, but who knows? So Mr. Sheedy says, I've been going down the BTC Core rabbit hole. I'm scared I'm turning into a maxi.
Don't do that.
Yeah, just be careful with that maxi stuff, dude. Like, you're going to miss out on a lot.
I don't want to start calling you Bugsy.
I'm in a so long position, so it's probably go down. All right, everyone short it. Oh shit, we got my boy Sammy Turnpike right down the street. Shout out to Sammy Turnpike. I said, good morning, Shizzy and Mr. Yagobi. Good to be here. I'm on vacation, back to work. Good to be here. Shout out to you, my friend. I love it, bro. I love it. Do you guys have turnpikes in Texas, or is that just a Pennsylvania thing? Okay.
Like we have George Bush Turnpike, which is a tollway. Is Turnpike tollway for you guys? Is that the same thing?
Yeah, it's you gotta pay. You gotta pay for it. Yeah. The Turnpike's the only place where you can go like 80 miles an hour in the tri-state anyway. So yeah, man. And then Mr. Sheedy says them having 99% is the problem. But they keep adding, bro. Like they've added more and more. Like there's no competition at all. But I hear what you're saying. And then Superfan says also node operators don't earn like miners. They do practically for free. I mean, yeah, you're playing a lottery, right? When you're a node operator, you can win, but it's like 3 a year.
What?
Like the single nodes.
Do they get paid out? They don't get paid out.
You can win a reward. Yeah, you can win
nodes or single. Randomly. You're talking about single miners.
Well, a miner is a node technically.
No, you can run a node just to have access and be able to kind of provide like the, data.
Providing hash rate.
Providing the data availability, right? Isn't that what it is? Because like, for example, like there's specific nodes that provide the data availability for indexers, for ordinals and stuff. But the benefit of running a node would be control, right? So for example, like you can kind of front run stuff in the mempool. You can, you have complete access to that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Sammy says, thank you, Shizzy and Mr. Yagobi. I love both turnpikes, New Jersey Turnpike when I was in NJ, but now the Bush Turnpike. That's funny. He's riding on the turnpikes. That's why I call him Sammy Turnpike. Shout out to you, my friend. Miss Cheaty, yeah, you guys are right. Notes keep the record. Miners give hash rate to the system and potentially earn for doing so. But that is your roll call for today, man. Appreciate every single one of you guys. 165 people on YouTube and X. I appreciate every single one of you guys, man. Guys, get in here, guys, especially the guys on X. I want to see some more X comments, man. It really helps the show. But thank you, everyone who throws in a comment. And then if you guys wouldn't mind liking it as well, really appreciate that. But let's move along here. What time is it? Okay, 44. Binance has announced the results of a second batch of the vote. So Binance put together a little bit ago, about a month ago, a new way of getting stuff listed, a voting system for so the first ones that got listed were Ondo, which probably should have been there anyway, Big Time, and virtual with C tags applied. What do you think about this? This is the beginning. How isn't virtuals and Ondo already on Binance? That's shocking.
Do you really need to vote for that? I mean, unless they're changing their system completely, taking it out of the hands of their listing team at all. Okay, I get that. But like, yeah, Ondo, that's a green light, right? Virtuals, like it's interesting that like Binance lists virtuals before Coinbase whenever they started on base. Right? Obviously they have bad blood, it seems like now. Big Time's the one that needs voting because I think Big Time is like this meme community or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. All right. What do you think is next? Do you think potentially Dog?
I don't know. They were supposed to be on this one because this is the second round, and the Dog community is obviously upset. They tagged Binance like a million times, and I think Dog gets listed or gets into the voting if like the slingshot situation works out well, right? So if the slingshot situation and Magic Eden has opportunity to become a true competitor in the fungible game, but like this could really help Runes and Dog, and if it does, then I think that's whenever they take more notice to it and say like we talked about this a little bit I think yesterday and Arch Thursdays is that like there needs to be this kind of big huge catalyst that like really propels Runes, and then that's whenever I think they're like, okay, now we can invest in the infrastructure for it for the centralized exchanges.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, 100%. All right. So, next thing here is pretty cool. So, BNB Chain has completed its Lorentz. Did I say that right? Lorentz, Lorentz, Lorentz hard fork upgrade, and announces future upgrade Maxwell in June. So, what is the Lorentz upgrade? So, BNB Chain slashes block time from 3 seconds to 1.5 seconds and supercharges on-chain performance. The upcoming Maxwell upgrade will cut BNB blockchain from 1.5, where the Lorentz upgrade just put it, to 0.75, doubling the speed for faster transactions and smoother performance. So now we went from 3 seconds to 1.5, and the next upgrade in June will take it to 0.75. What do you think about these upgrades of BNB potentially becoming one of the faster chains around?
Trying to compete with the Solanas, trying to compete with the Sonics and stuff. So it's good for them.
Yeah. Do you think this changes anything for BNB? Do you think this kind of pushes them further up in the potential use cases for TradFi?
Possibly, but I still think that they have their market, which is the East. So maybe some of those, like, I don't know. Maybe there'll be some Western companies that eventually try to. I think crypto has the opportunity to kind of merge those. I've talked about it before, but like, there's still kind of this like trust stuff that needs to probably get worked out. But in terms of tech stack and stuff, this is big for them because now they can boast this.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man. Okay, so Circle mints an additional 250 million USDC on Solana, bringing the 2025 total to 12.25. So I went and asked ChatGPT. I said, who's bringing all this USDC over? And he said the surge in USDC supply aligns with the network's growing DeFi activity. Solana now ranks second in decentralized exchange DEX volume with 6.2 billion in total value locked. So yeah, it's basically saying this USDC that is being minted, I mean, it seems like monthly, is going right to DeFi.
Yeah, so this is showing that there's interest for more stable and more DeFi
Yeah.
activity there. I don't know a bunch of stuff that's happening on Solana DeFi wise, but I'm sure there has been stuff that's built there, and other than the pump fund stuff and all that stuff, right? But
Yeah.
we know there's kind of like these like side chains or layers that are being built kind of on top of Solana, like Zeus
Yeah.
network. And I wonder if this is going to go into some of that as well, maybe bridging over. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see if they kind of follow that blueprint that Ethereum had. Ethereum definitely had more blue chip DeFi projects in their earlier part of their lifespan.
Yeah.
The Maker DAOs, the Yearn Finance, those kind of things.
Yeah.
But Solana, maybe that starts to really come to surface now. They become more popular. We'll see.
At what point does projects like the ones you mentioned and potentially Curve and Alchemy Pay, like there's some of the bigger Ethereum one plays. When do you think they look at Solana and say, all right, guys, especially for Curve's not on Solana whatsoever. Curve's one of the biggest DeFi protocols on ETH. Potentially look over at Solana and say, we need to be there. That's where the USDC is being printed.
Probably pretty soon. They
You think
do
so?
have, I think, either that or they rebrand or they brand like it in a separate product. Yeah, like there's products there. I can't even think of any of their big ones right now in Solana. Can you? I mean, Wasabi, because
I'm
we
just
only
not.
know them
Yeah.
because of because of Arch, but like and I don't even know if they're one of the bigger players,
Yeah.
right? So I would have to do some research on that and see. But yeah, there's obviously an opportunity, and
Yeah.
Circle showing it.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to have, if you guys know someone big into Solana DeFi, please like reach out to them for us. We would love to have them on. I would love to have someone on just kind of walk us through maybe some of the bigger Solana DeFi plays, or maybe we can even jump on DeFi Llama and kind of go over them for an episode. Maybe we'll do that next week or something, and kind of go over some of the bigger DeFi products on Solana, because that would be probably really, really big for someone who's sitting on some USDC over there and wants to do what the big boys are doing. All right, so.
Yeah.
All right. The next thing here is a tweet from FunkyBit. So, FunkyBit, they're building a pump fund type of model. They're going to be building on Arch, but I think they're going to be on Base as well. And they put out a tweet that they are officially live here. And of course, I never actually got the tweet ready, so I'm gonna get this ready. But what can you tell me about FunkyBit while I get this ready?
Yeah, they're a meme coin launchpad / AMM, right? And they're going to be be on Arch, but they're also I think they're kicking things off on Base Chain, right? So one of the things that they're talking about is they're going to have liquidity pools for OG runes /
Yeah,
bag holders is what they call them. But I imagine that's going to be a base contract with liquidity pools there, and then eventually they'll be able to have the actual rune version, the Bitcoin version, on Arch once they go live there
yeah,
as well. So uh, this could be like a really exciting, fun environment. We'll see if it's going to be something similar to Odin, because Odin is really the first one that kind of kicked off and got enough like that attention,
yeah,
grabbed the attention economy for the Bitcoin ecosystem to say, hey, this is a meme coin launchpad. People got into it, but it reached a certain level and kind of stayed around, hovered around there. It did, in my opinion, it didn't reach that next crazy like onboarding from everywhere level. We'll
yeah.
see if FunkyBit can do it, or RuneShot maybe, but I'm excited to see what they
Yeah.
got.
Yeah, 100%. They say, you wanted the funk, we listened. This is a tweet from Arch Network. They said, while Arch isn't live yet, FunkyBit is launching its beta mainnet app. I love how they call it beta mainnet app early on Bitcoin. Launch, trade BTC meme coins, grow your favorite funky match runes LP, earn with creator AMM profit share. So if you go into FunkyBit, their tweet here gets more into it. So they say, we are live. You can now trade Bitcoin meme coins with USDC on Bitcoin, OG runes, AMM, coin creator rewards, cash back rewards for traders, USDC pools, super easy to trade, and LPs, which is kind of, you just mentioned, LPs for runes communities and bag holders. Time to get funked up. I love it. Yeah. So, dude, what do you think about FunkyBit actually going live now and not waiting for Arch. Do you like that? Do you not like it? I don't know how I feel about it. I kind of wish they would have just kind of waited for Arch a little bit and maybe continue testing that, continuing upgrade, continuing building, and then just being that Arch dApp that goes live first.
They're live now, and it's on Bitcoin, I think. I'm at FunkyBit.fun, and it looks like it's actually live now. Yeah, so if you just go to FunkyBit.fun,
Yeah.
you can see, it looks like they're, this is their beta, but like, how is that possible if,
Is
I'm
it their
curious.
testnet or is it their beta?
No, it's their beta. Because they I think they announced that they're live now too in that post too,
Yeah.
right? So this is definitely an interesting thing if that's the case, and if it is, like, I wonder if they're using Arch right now, if they're using something else. Because but to go back to your question there, I think people are ready to trade like runes in this kind of environment, right? And so I'm okay with it, but if something goes wrong, it's all on them. They decided to jump the gun, and they're gonna have to own that.
It's definitely not on Arch because Arch isn't live. There's no way to do it. So like, where are they actually working from here?
I'm not sure, unless they're using some sort of account.
Are they using layer 1 Bitcoin?
How?
With just runes.
Yeah, but like, how are they doing the bonding curves and stuff like that? You can see right there. So I don't know. Let's
test it out. I mean, let's go here. So it's definitely
it says connect EVM wallet. Okay, cool.
So I think it's on base. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure it's on base. So let me just connect my EVM here, and then kind of see. We do have a few more minutes, so I might as well just kind of just make sure I got it, because I'm pretty sure it's on base. This is what I got from it, but we'll see which wallet it wants to connect for.
It is. Yeah, Pelpa jumped in the chat and says it is base. So if you have base USDC, then you can participate, which is interesting, because now base has Moonshot and it has FunkyBit now, which is a part of the Bitcoin ecosystem. But so is this going to be? I imagine they're going to have some sort of bridging too for cross-chain liquidity or something. So I don't know. Do you see this as a good thing, kind of being on base, and then eventually Arch Network and other stuff as well?
It's good for runes.
Yeah.
Right? Because now technically they're on base.
Go to the pools. See what the pools are.
Yeah, it's the pools here. Let's view the pool for Pups World Peace. We're seeing TVL.
2 Bitcoin?
2 Bitcoin, yeah. So that's not bad. It's what, 80,000? No.
160. 2.5. So you're looking at 200K, yeah.
So you can kind of look at the pools here. So you can trade these on. Is it on base? See, I wish these guys would have came on the show. I mean, and kind of explain this a little better to us, because we could be able to explain it a little better as well. But yeah, I mean, it does seem like they're on base. It does seem like they are running. So let me check my MetaMask here and make sure if it's on base. Yeah, it's on base. Yeah, so we're sitting there. Yep.
So these are base. These are base contracts for these tokens, I guess. I assume.
So I guess they bridged them over, right? So has anything bonded yet?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I'm curious what the bonding curve is as well. So so I'll dig into this over the weekend, and we'll give you guys a more updated look there. But you can create a coin, market cap, new coins, faves, funked up. I guess the funked up. Okay, so we do have a couple bonding curve ones. Obviously, these are the OG runes. They don't have dog. Is that weird, not having dog?
It is weird. But they got $1 billion cat.
Yeah.
Which is dude, I've been a part of that community since they a little after they launched. But
I'm actually gonna buy the IP and then sell it back to the community. No, I'm just playing. But I looked it up, and they never like purchased the IP. Isn't that wild for $1 billion cat? Pretty crazy.
Yeah, they better hurry up.
Should we buy it? Should OnChain Revolution own the Billy Cat IP?
No, we don't want to fight with them.
New coins, Funky Atomic Dog, Funky Club. I love how they're using all the funky stuff. So the Funky Penguin, pretty cool. So
Yes, sir.
All right. It is Friday around 12 o'clock, and every Friday around 12 o'clock, we have an amazing partner called Fluid. So Fluid actually asked us to kind of show you guys how to bridge Dog from Bitcoin Layer 1 all the way to Cardano. It is a few steps, so it might get a little confusing, but I think that is 100% worth it. So let's go check out their tweet first. So this is a tweet from the official Fluid account, the blue one. So they have a blue one and an orange one. And the blue one, you actually want to go down a little further in the tweet to find this, but you can go to bridge from Bitcoin to Sol, and then you go from Sol to Cardano. So it is a few steps here, but we're going to walk you guys through how to do it if you're interested in bringing your dog over to Cardano, which could be a lot of cool DeFi opportunities happening in the future. So probably a really good thing to do. What about you? Would you have any interest in bridging your dog to Cardano?
Maybe if the activity shows that the volume is pretty good over there, that could be something. I do. As of right now, I just kind of want to see how the UX is. I'll probably do a little bit just to see what that process looks like.
Well, let's do it now, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to walk you guys through the exact process. So the first thing that it tells you to do is you want to go use the RuneMine app. So it's app.runemine. You guys can click here or just go to the RuneMine app. So app.runemine.com/bridge. So you go to bridge, and then you'll change $1 billion cat to dog. Come up here. You'll type in dog. Right? Dog go to the moon will pop up. So in this wallet, it's saying that I have 59,000. So let's bring them all over. Let's bring over 339. And then we'll bridge from Bitcoin. So it's really simple. I'm going to keep it fast. I'm going to hit bridge. And just so you guys know, it does take 3 blocks, 3 Bitcoin blocks for this to go through. So you just come down here. It's $86. I'm going to confirm it. I'm going to pay $1.37 in fees, which is really nice. I mean, that's a lot cheaper than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah. And as you can see, it was pending. I did a test one this morning that actually went through and it's sent. So we're going to go play with that stuff I already sent over. So the next thing you're going to want to do is go to the WAN bridge. So WAN bridge is from Solana to Cardano. Yep. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to hook up your Solana wallet and then have a Cardano wallet. And for me, I'm using... what was the name of that wallet? Begin. Okay, so I'm using the Begin wallet here, and this is my Begin wallet here. So I'm going to need, eventually I'm going to need this wallet address, the Cardano one. So I'm going to just copy it now, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to paste it in. I first got to select Cardano here. But first, let's like, yeah, let's do
Solana.
So in Sol, SOL, Solana, and of course it didn't go. SOL. Solana, there it goes. And then I'm going to go click the asset. It's going to say dog. I'm going to grab that dog. I have $109 in a dog over there that I transferred this morning. And then I'm going to select here. I'm going to select the only option, which is Cardano, and then dog. And then I'm going to come here. I'm going to put that address in there. I'm going to paste it. And why aren't you? There we go. And then I'll paste it in. So I do have my Cardano wallet in there. And I'm going to max that out, send as much as I possibly can. Max. So I'll go 74,250 and I'll hit next. The address is still in edit mode. Please confirm before clicking. Okay, so it wants you to hit the check mark. And then I hit next. I confirm that. Let's go, send it. Confirm again. My wallet should pop up, my Phantom wallet, just like so. I'm gonna have to open that up as well. I hate how fast some of these wallets close, man.
Yeah.
But
yeah, go ahead.
So I'm going to just confirm that's I'm going to be paying 0.012 in Sol, 74,000 dog. I'm going to confirm it. And boom. You guys just watched me bridge from Bitcoin to Sol and then bridge from Sol to Cardano. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, and for the audience listening in, obviously there's going to be direct bridging from Bitcoin to Cardano, and there's already direct bridging from Bitcoin to Solana. But this is, a way to do it right now. And also, we've been talking about this for months and months and months about like the whole, layer one at Bitcoin layer one assets being serviced by these layer ones. Look what's happening. What's happening. So, I mean, we called this before. any of this stuff was happening, and you have dog go to the moon on Cardano, Solana, Base, Merlin, guys. Like, as much as like it looked like it sucked for like the fungibles on Bitcoin for a good period of time, they're everywhere. They're going to be everywhere. And imagine what that is from a branding perspective. I don't know. I'm sticking to my thesis that like it's going to pay off big time.
Yeah, no, I think so too, man. I really do. And I'll take this screenshot so I have it for later. I'll make a little tweet about it that I probably one of the first people to bridge dog from Solana to Cardano. I don't know. I'm kind of proud of this, dude. I'm kind of proud of being somebody who has done this. I don't know why, but shout out to Fluid, man, giving the time right now for us to kind of show you guys how to bring your dog over. I think Fluid's going to have some opportunities, though, some dog opportunities on its original site. So let's take a look at Fluid. We'll go over to Fluid, right, and we'll exit this out here, and then we'll go to launch Cardano. I think Fluid is actually going to have some really big opportunities here in the future for potentially, I don't know, maybe staking some dog, maybe taking some loans. Who knows what they're going to offer in the future, but I'm definitely excited for it. Right now, if you have some FLDT, you will be able to, you can stake that in some of these pools here. You can earn up to 20% APR on some locked pools, but they have a liquid pool, but you can earn 3%. So that's pretty cool. And they have some lending as well. We're going to go over this in more detail later if you're interested. But Space Buds right now, you can actually take a loan out on it as an offer. So that's pretty cool there as well. But yeah, man, definitely check out the Fluid on Cardano. But let's kind of go over and go to the Bitcoin version of it as well. So as you guys do know, there's staking, right? And Raul actually asked us to go over some of the ones that are ending, correct?
Yes. Just to give you guys a heads up, and once you're able to claim, you're gonna have to do that manually. It doesn't automatically do that when it expired. So, but there is no platform fee for that. You just have to pay the mempool fee, which right now is pretty cheap. So, and you only have to do it just to unstake, and you'll be able to get your rewards and unstake in one transaction. So that's a good thing as well.
Yeah, man. And so if you guys just don't know, if you do have an account here, or if you've connected your wallet, all you have to do is go to Fluid Tokens, go to your stake, right? So for me, I have my FLDT passes at unlock in about 9 days. I'm excited for this because I have 20 passes I've staked. I bought all your airdrops. All you guys who sold your airdrops super cheap back in October, I was like, oh, $7, and I bought them all up. Now they're going for like $170 each. Thank you, everyone who dumped your Fluid passes. That is very nice of you for donating to Team Shizzy here. But I'm going to be unstaking these in 20 ordinals, and I'm going to get a nice FLDT rune. So we do know that FLDT rune will actually have liquidity, right? Raul's going to be putting liquidity on some dexes.
Yeah. And there's already liquidity on Cardano as well. And you saw, you're going to be able to bridge. Now, by then, in my opinion, the Aquarium bridge will be ready. Maybe not 9 days, but not much long after that.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to bridge directly from Bitcoin to Cardano once that's ready. And they're going to have a DEX there too. So, I mean, they're just setting everything up for success, right? With everything that they're getting involved with. These guys are just, they're beasts of developers, UTXO devs. That's why I always like emphasize that when we go over them at the end, because they're just constantly just building, right?
Yeah.
So.
And what I'm going to do, and if you're smart, you might want to do the same, but I'm going to take an arbitrage position on the FLDT rune. And I'm going to have some FLDT on Cardano, and I'm going to have some FLDT rune on Bitcoin. And as I see the prices, maybe someone comes in and dumps a large amount that they earned by staking the passes. I'm going to come in and make sure that I can get the arbitrage. Like, I'll sell a little bit on Cardano and then buy that same exact amount on Bitcoin. So I will always have the same amount of FLDT, but I'll have actually more money, right? So if I let's just say there's a $70 difference between 1,000 FLDT on Cardano and 1,000 here, I'm going to make that $70. And if I could do that all day long and just make sure the price kind of stays fit there, that's free money. Like, I keep the same amount of FLDT and I just keep earning. And I'm going to do that for like a few weeks.
Yeah, until it closes up, which eventually it will. But as long as you can take advantage of it until then, be one of the, because not everybody's gonna be paying attention to that. So
Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. Definitely excited for what Fluid's bringing to the table. And guys, we do know that they're going to be doing another dog vault soon, so that's going to be exciting. They did announce that on their X as well, that they're thinking about doing another dog vault. So that should be pretty big if you do hold dog like I do. You want to stake? Look at this one. I staked 400,000. When I unstake this, I'm going to get 500,000 back because it's 20% APY. Because I was one of the lucky few who did this. Well, I don't know if I was lucky or I was just smart. But I just think it was so stupid not to. I put 400,000 in, I'm getting 500,000 out. I mean,
You can't beat that.
I paid like
Can't beat that.
$20 in fees, but at the same time, I'm getting like a $250 worth of dog, and that's at today's prices. Who knows what that's going to be in the future? So, stupid not to do these vaults, guys. Especially, I mean, they're so short term. I mean, this was like 30 days, or like 70 days for this one, and like 30 days for this one. So, pretty incredible that they are doing that. So.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be shocked if they have a dog staking vault on the Cardano side too. Once there's enough over there, because they kind of represent both Bitcoin and Cardano. But maybe they just stick to one side. Who knows? Over there, it's going to be smart contract driven. So you might have more options and stuff. So wouldn't be shocked to see that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Let's take a look at their Twitter here one last time, because they had another set of news here.
The airdrop, I think, was the
Yeah, the airdrop
update.
tool. I think it's from the other account, the Fluid. This one right here. So here it is, right here. So for you guys who don't know, and if you have a project or you're interested in airdropping runes to people, Fluid actually created a tool for you guys. So they actually created it for themselves when they airdropped everyone the Fluid passes. So they're like, hey, why don't we just put this out and earn some fees from this? So if you're interested in airdropping, let's just say you, especially right now when fees are cheap, right? If you were interested in airdropping runes to people, right? So why would somebody want to airdrop runes?
Maybe you can do it for many reasons, right? You could do it maybe for like a collection, ordinal collection. You're trying to reward your holders. You could do it for, you could actually do it for like Odin or another layer that like for addresses that are adding liquidity to reward liquidity providers or something, right? And then say, hey, we're going to airdrop this associated address. Now, Odin obviously has to collaborate with some sort of API to pull in the Bitcoin address data, but I mean, it's doable. And so there's different ways you can utilize this, but they're starting with runes, and what we're hearing is, BRC 20, whenever BRC 2.0 is coming out, they're going to be supporting that too. And this is another reason why I say, these guys are, I feel like there's nothing they can't do within they search out every possible, limitation that Bitcoin has and see if they can push it to that limit.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's go check on my my bridge. Let's see if I got my stuff here. So it says transaction complete. Let's jump on my Begin wallet. That's the wallet that I used here. Oh, I got it, bro. That's got awesome. It. I got the dog. I got the dog on the Begin wallet. So, and now let's take that dog to MinSwap, right? Let's see show what we can do here. Let's connect my wallet. MinSwap's having like some issues though.
Are they?
I don't know why. It's just I won't let me connect. Like it's not really giving me the option.
Refresh
my wallet right now. I tried that earlier. It's been giving me this problem for a little bit. Check if you're having the same issue, because I might just have to clear my cache or something. So if it just spins up top, wallet connection failed. Let me connect, and then we'll go down to Begin. Let's see. It might work now. To that refresh. So Begin. Come on. I don't know why it's working, but let's see if I can swap on Begin. Oh, you can swap on Begin
with dog. Cool. Oh yeah, you can.
Yeah. What's it called for dog? It's called OnChain Dog. So I have a dog here, and then
because that was the bridge, right?
Yeah, that was the bridge that I used. Yeah, so I can swap it. So it's my $102. Dude, the pool must be nice too, because
how much is Cardano though? Or how much is that value? Does it have the USD value right there?
Yeah, right there.
Okay, perfect. Nice.
Yeah, so I'm only losing $2. So hell yeah, dude, this is awesome. I love having. I'm gonna bring all my dog to Cardano, bro, and just I gotta see what happens here. But yeah, man, and you can actually see.
Yeah.
God, I'm sorry.
I just can't stop smiling because like I feel like what we said about like runes being everywhere is happening. I didn't even mention ICP, and then Near is about to happen.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just saying.
Runes are going to be a big deal, guys. And right now you can buy dog. And even if you have some ADA now, you can actually you don't even need a bridge. If you have ADA, just go buy the dog off the market. Right. So, and the
Yep.
more dog that gets pulled up, the more and more people will bridge it in to keep the price arbitraged. So this is something I'm going to keep a look at as well. Now that I have some dog over here, I'm going to be arbitraging some dog as well. So if dog drops under the rune deck price or the whatever the cheapest where I can get it, I'm going to keep arbitraging it and make sure that I keep the same amount of dog, but I earn some more Bitcoin or Cardano. So pretty awesome. Shout out to Fluid. Shout out to Cardano. Shout out to Juan Bridge as well. So really awesome. And Runes mine. You got to remember these guys are how we're getting the runes to Solana in the first place. So shout out all these opportunities, guys. And it might seem like would you say that's a lot? Being someone
Right
who
now.
Yeah, you think so? I don't know. For me, that's nothing. I've
So
done shit like this all the time.
Yeah, but for us, so it depends on how long people have been in like DeFi and bridging and those kind of
Yeah.
things. So obviously for us, it's not a big deal because we know
Yeah.
exactly, it's a pretty straightforward instruction. Bridge from here, from there. You do need 2 separate wallets. Solana, well, technically 3, right? Well, because at a Bitcoin wallet and Solana wallet, then the Cardano wallet. So, but this is all going to get condensed, right, guys? Like in the future, Fluid's building that direct bridge from Bitcoin to Cardano. So I think it's actually cool the fact that there's 2 other ecosystems that are participating in Runes that you can do this right now while you're waiting for that. So
yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree. So I kind of want to take a look at this if you don't mind. So lately, Magic Eden runes, the layer 1 runes, are
looking good.
Going nuts. I mean, they're looking better than nuts. But like, how do I find the runes? If you're someone who doesn't really know where to go find runes, what do I do, man? There's no runes tab no more.
Yeah, you got to go to trade.
Trade, okay.
And then under trade, you see Runes BTC.
Okay, I see Slingshot here too.
Yeah,
What
it's
is
not
this
ready.
about?
It's not ready yet, but Slingshot actually put a post out today and showed that in their test net of being able to select Bitcoin chain. So they're saying very, very close, like very close, guys. So when Slingshot opens up, that could be the game changer everybody's been waiting for.
Yeah, 100%. So let's go to runes. And keep the badge on, guys. That way you don't get mixed up with anything that's not good, and then put it to volume. But Magic Internet Money has actually beat out Dog in volume. What do you think about this? Do you think Magic Internet Money could potentially compete with Dog in volume at least?
I mean, I think like one-off like days and stuff like that. Yeah, they have big support. Remember, like the Wizard token got up to like 100, I think 100+ million, I believe, and so it was really high, maybe even higher. I'm not sure, but they are doing the pups thing though. You have to bridge over. If you don't bridge by that date, reminder, guys, go to their X, and if you need to bridge over your Wizard BRC20 token, do it, because once you're past that date, you will lose it, just like pups. And we don't want to hear people like complaining if you've been reminded so many times. So but with that being said, I do think that like they have I think they're going to be a high market cap. I think that Dog obviously is going to be the largest. I think that probably between Magic Internet Money and pups coming in at that number 2. Billy could have some crazy thrust up. Last October, Billy started it and got to 155 million, right? Yeah. But it does need it, because right now it's half of the market cap of pups and about a third of the market cap of Magic Internet Money. But Billy definitely has strong community and IP. We'll see if it can push that hard. But right now, if I had to say, it's probably those are the top 4. Those are top 4 for sure. And we'll see. We'll see what else comes, because I think there's going to be some that surprise people too.
Yeah. Which one would you say is there anything that has potential to potentially surprise anybody?
Yeah, Bitcoin Bro Bear, I think, does. There's some support there with some of these alpha caller KOLs, I guess you call them, like Kook and yeah, he's big on Bro Bear. Psycho Hamster could do something. Gizmo, obviously, it's a derivative, so it's always going to be trailing pups, but
It beat Pups here
in volume.
in
Yeah,
in
but
in
not
volume.
market cap though,
Well,
right?
price.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
actually,
nowhere near market cap.
sorry, not even volume. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, so just the price, I guess. Price, yeah. But yeah. So, the only other ones that like, okay, so like you have your one-off like memes like Psycho Hamster,
Yeah.
Based Internet Panda, Mr. Yen, which could run, but then you have some old memes that like Wanko Mako. We don't know if that's going to revive because it's Casey, has his fingerprints on that. But I do think that this brings like a lot of opportunity for some of the older ones that like might have fallen back. Like Cypher Genesis is at 1.37. Lobo the Wolf Pup at 4, and it's kind of a derivative of Dog. You have Uncommon Goods, which could be a really big game changer, with all these liquidity pools coming into place in the next 6 to 12 months for runes. I think it's a big opportunity zone again, and I could be wrong about what I'm saying about it being everywhere. I'm thinking about it from a branding perspective and like how that foundation's being set. Sometimes you set foundation and you don't see, the fruition until the foundation is set and it's being built up, and it's being built up in all these different chains, right? ICP, Odin, AMM, liquidity pools, RuneShot, Near, AMM, liquidity pools, FunkyBit, AMM, liquidity pools, Cardano, AMM, liquidity pools, Solana, AMM, liquidity pools. Now you got the big, so the home base is really kind of what I think people are looking for. Arch Network launches probably in June, maybe a little bit later.
Yeah.
That's a home base for runes for sure, possibility. And then you have Magic Eden and now Slingshot, which what they're saying is Slingshot is solving the liquidity issue, and it should be a vertical liquidity moment. So we'll see.
Yeah, 100%. What about something like Satoshi Nakamoto?
Yeah, so I think Satoshi Nakamoto could definitely bounce back, but now you kind of have a little bit of a split because there's a one that's successful on Odin, right? And it is like it has etched a rune because it reached the bonding curve. So that one's going to be, I think that actually does harm to each other in the long run, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, if that didn't happen, I think there was opportunity there. And then the two that are like wild cards to me are RuneCoin, because there's been a lot of hate, obviously, and I think a lot of it was probably deserved because they were not communicating for the longest time, but they did bounce back some. And then you have the Fehu. Was Fehu just like them trolling, or are they waking up really and saying, okay, things are starting to heat up now? So those are two wild cards, I think that, but utility wise, you got Liquidium at 15 million, which I think is undervalued big time. And then you're going to have Fluid, which will probably be undervalued as well. And they'll have opportunities to really rise up. Mr. Yin also kind of a wild card because everybody loved that in terms of like meme culture. It seemed like one of the best memes. But yeah, there's definitely some in here that I think are going to rebound for sure. So
I agree, especially when Dog gets back to like 500K, potentially a billion or 500 million, potentially a billion. Newt here. We saw Newt on what chain was that? Abstract, right?
Yeah.
They hit like $14 million or something crazy. So that was crazy to see. But like, how do you feel about? You said RuneCoin potentially could be something, but how do you feel about it dropping 5%? While Billy's up 57, Pups is up 12, Gizmo's up 28, Memento Mori up 48, and this is down 5%. What do you think about that?
I think it shows which ones like had that strong community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like whenever people are like, okay, game back on, all right, like, I'm back in. I had the conviction in this already. And then like whenever all these communities were building and had conviction in them, like RuneCoin was lost. It was actually losing community because they weren't communicating. They weren't, so it's kind of like people are going to the ones they have confidence in that will do well. That's what I'm seeing from it. I don't know.
No, I agree. I 100% agree. I think that too. I think that there's no confidence in RuneCoin, especially with Runetoshi, right? Which some people say he was never really a part of it, but I always assumed it seemed like he was. He always pushed it, right? So, and then Runetoshi went and dropped a
Solana meme coin.
A pump and dump on Solana, right? So, and then that pumped to insane amounts, and then came crashing down, and then his Twitter got suspended. So that is something thing to. But do you think that hurts RuneCoin? What happened with Runetoshi?
Is he confirmed the founder of RuneCoin?
Well, he launched RuneCoin on Satoshi on Solana, right? So it was the same exact coin.
I think he was like a part of the community, but if he was,
Yeah.
of course, it's going to hurt it. But they are the only one on OKX, right? And so they are technically the only one that has that tier 1 status. Whether if let's say you don't think OKX is a tier 1, it's a tier 2 or whatever, right at the edge, still the highest tier in terms of a listing for a rune. So, but since then, it really. Yeah, I don't know. It's a roll of the dice for me with RuneCoin.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. You mentioned Liquidium earlier. We know Fluid is coming, right? They're going to be here in about 9 days. I'm going to be probably up here. With what Liquidium's doing and what Fluid's doing, they're going to be two of the most sought after utility plays, and then eventually down the line you have Emblem Vault, and then what they bring to the table. And do you see? So my first question is: do you see Liquidium potentially getting to like $100 million this year? And my second question would be: do you think more utility runes start popping up like during Liquidium's run?
So if Runes has a revival here and everything that's being lined up works out, then yes, I do think that Liquidium gets to 100 million plus eventually. I don't know about this year, probably though, if we have that crazy bull towards the end. And then yes, I do see other utility plays coming in as well. This is unique though, right? Because if this works out the way it does, right? And let's say that there's this huge liquidity rush to runes and Bitcoin meme coins and Bitcoin fungibles or whatever. It's the first time that we've seen assets that have had success without, having native AMMs on a chain. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so
swap rune decks.
I mean, like, I guess this typical decentralized way, right?
Yeah.
So, and so how is this gonna like be viewed and it's gonna be it's different, it's different, but it has shown the want for this has, and if this happens and if their success has overcome the perception of there's no AMMs on Bitcoin layer 1, and it has overcome that. So meaning that these assets, in my opinion, will actually establish even more value because it's like, oh shit, they're here. Like they wanted it this bad. It worked. You know what I mean? So, but we still need to see that because it hasn't reached that yet. But there's definitely some positive optimism, with Slingshot, with Magic Eden backing it, and all these things. And all it takes is that influx of liquidity in an app like Slingshot that can act like Robinhood and bring in, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars into purchases for these meme coins will definitely change the minds of centralized exchanges.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. 100%, dude. What do you think about potentially Liquidium bridging to Solana to potentially help them get listed? We do know like there's a lot of SPLs on exchanges, right? Do you think an exchange asks Liquidium, hey, like we don't want to hold the rune, but if you guys bridge your quantity over to Solana, we will potentially list you? Do you think something like that happens, or do you think maybe exchanges start listing runes without the SPL?
I would rather personally have Arch thrive and then have the option to say, okay, if you want a smart contract version of this rune, take the Arch version of it, because it's way more Bitcoin native than Solana, right? And I don't know if that's just my pride kicking in. I don't think that's what it is. That for me, it's more of like, okay, now you have like you're solidifying Arch too and giving it another use case for that. And you have the option, if you, let's say, like if you're a rune, you have them success, you're go have success on Arch, and then it gets listed in the Arch standard, right? That way, that Bitcoin branding still be very strong. I just don't know how strong like it can stay with an SPL 20 token. You know, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so basically, you know, we're saying, you know, we're not seeing that much billionaire cat as an SPL right now, right? We're not saying many people do that. So, and the exchanges haven't picked it up because it's an SPL. So yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yep.
All right, guys. So it is Friday at 12:30, and every Friday at 12:30, we like to, you know, show one of our partners. That partner is Emblem Vault. Emblem Vault's doing some really amazing stuff here, guys. Not only are they building some really cool vaulting products that will allow you to jump your assets from Bitcoin to Ethereum to Base to Abstract to Merlin and more to come, potentially Solana as well. These guys are actually building the amazing agent Hustle. So I guess last night, I was on X scrolling through, and I saw that they were live, Adam and Jake, and they were doing. They actually had
Connor.
OnChain, Connor
Yeah.
OnChain on. Yeah. I love Connor. He's awesome. So it was really cool to kind of see his perspective on Hustle, and he looked like he was like the first time checking it out, and he was really intrigued with it. So that was really awesome to see. Like Connor's somebody who, you know, he participated in Bitcoin, participated in Runes and everything, BRC20s and everything else. But he's also a guy who is in Tau and is all over the place. So it was really cool to kind of see his perspective on Hustle and everything that these guys are doing on Solana with the pump funds and stuff like that. So it was really awesome to see. So without further ado, let's bring up Jake.
Let's do it.
Jake, what's up, dude?
Hey.
Yo, what's good, guys? Yeah, it was fun to have Connor on. That was our first guest that we had done with the Hustle live streams. And it was cool to have you guys, you know, come check it out. Also, we'll have you guys, I think next week we have planned, right?
Yeah, next Tuesday.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And then obviously, right, I've had some unfortunate exploit happen pretty recently. So I've been dealing with that from a security issue, but we still move on no matter what. Really tough, man. These scammers out there. There's always some new way to manipulate people, some new way to exploit some sort of setting. It's just a never ending game. But the outpour and outreach of people who followed up is quite incredible.
Yeah, I mean that sucks, and you know I don't want to have that linger topic with you because I know that probably you're tired of talking about it.
Yeah, I mean I'm happy to share it. I mean, you know, it's embarrassing to be, you know, somebody who's been in the space 9 years as a leader and stuff to have that kind of stuff happen. But you know, it's important to show that, you know, nobody's invincible and these kind of things do happen. And the best thing to do is to protect people. It seems like this scam is actually about a month old. So it's very new. This a few security teams that I'm talking with have showed me a link, and they have about 40 different accounts that are associated with this scam so far. This person who had reached out to me has a YouTube channel of 90,000 people, and are literally posting videos as of yesterday. So we're still trying to figure out if this person had his account hacked and people are just using deepfakes on the other side, or a voice changer mimicker or something, or if this is just like somebody who's doing some sort of scamming out in the open. Because during the interview, this person was really asking some very sophisticated questions. Like it felt like there was somebody of expertise on the other side. There was no way that they would have been able to ask these like in-depth questions without being in the space for a while.
Yeah, definitely. And the one that got me was the Mooncat, man. Because I know that's like part of your identity, and but that sucks. And dude, like you know, this was very sophisticated from what you showed me. So like, I think anybody could have definitely fell into that. But hopefully, this, like you said, education is the most important thing, and you turn it into a positive as much as you can, right? But yeah,
about, you know, those assets I'd acquired, I lost literally the rarest Mooncat that exists. I paid like 100 grand for. Obviously the Genesis cat, which is my profile picture, paid like 50K for, and some other assets. So it sucks. It's really unfortunate. You know, I'll recover and we'll make it back, and we'll continue to grow. If you're using Zoom, I highly recommend to look into these settings. It's actually quite insane that this setting of give or allow the host to request remote control of your computers is a default turned on option for every single Zoom setting. So you probably have this on right now. So what these people do is they get you on a Zoom call and they ask you to screen share to show your product, right? And some people have interviewed me that have said that some other types of people who've reached out are pretending to be reporters. Some people are YouTubers. It seems like some people pretend to be VCs. So they ask it in different ways. And so they'll ask you to screen share. And when you do, they say, here, I'm giving you access or I'm about to give you access just to prove this message. And if you're not paying attention or if you're unaware, it says, and you saw in like I just put a thread right before this, it says give remote access, and Zoom has it highlighted as blue. Like they're actually like suggesting you to click on it. There's no warning or anything like that. And so once you do that and click it, they have literally complete access to your computer. Like they are literally you. So what they do then is they download malware, and any wallet that is opened, any social media account that's available, they literally have access to the entire thing. And so there is this weird one with, I had a hardware wallet on there. That's where all my assets were in. I don't know. I'm still really unsure how they access that, because I rarely ever use it, rarely ever log in. I logged into it like a month ago or so, and only a few times over the past 3-4 years. So, maybe it was something where I was trying to cut a shortcut or something, but that one to me is still a mystery. They did end up draining a Bitcoin wallet as well. I had some like Femojis and some other kind of smaller assets, but I actually thought it generally practice pretty good security. So the computer, not this one that I'm on right now, but the one that I'm usually on, I generally just keep to social media and recording. So the wallets that were signed into it is like smaller wallets that I'd used when I'm doing like live streams to like test and stuff like that. So the Ledger thing, I'm still really confused how they got access to that, but they did hack my Twitter account. Luckily, I was online. I was on my laptop at the time, and they started sending DMs to people to hop on a Zoom call, ironically. And then they had access to my Gmail account as well, because they locked me out of Twitter, and then I reset the password, and then they basically reset the password on me again. So I had to like go to Gmail to reset it, and then you have to go through all of your other accounts and stuff. But fortunately for me, I generally don't keep too much information in Gmail and in on that computer. So it's somewhat contained. I mean, there's still a big blast radius, but it wasn't like everything, fortunately. So really, I encourage people to really, look into Zoom if you're using it. If you're going to use Zoom, you have to be the host of the show. If you're not the host of the Zoom meeting, I would recommend not using it. But at least go look at the recent thread that I posted and change that setting. It's crazy that it's default on. And also the crazier part is that it's default on. It can only be changed by an admin, and the owner of the account's not allowed to be the admin. So yeah, the one that says before I shared the details.
This one right here?
The second one, right underneath it. Right underneath it. It says right there, yeah. So I recommend people to read through that. That explains how they go about it and what the scam is. And the next one, I'll do one final thread for people, basically highlighting who this person is, this kind of scam ring and stuff. But I'm waiting for a few security teams who've reached out to do their proper due diligence and to gather all of the information that they need. And then we'll go out and kind of out people. Yeah. So I highly recommend to either scrap Zoom or at least go in and change the settings. And all the details are there.
Wow.
Yeah. Could Zoom be held liable as well? Because making it default like that seems to be so dangerous.
There's a few people who reached out and said that this could be a class action lawsuit. There's about 5 or 6 people who reached out to me who's also recently been exploited to the same thing. So I don't know. No, different accounts. Different accounts. This person who reached out to me from at least the security team has told me it seems to be the largest account of them all. And the crazy part was like, I'm generally I generally like am aware of these type of things. And so when this person reached out to me, his account had 20 mutual followers of like pretty big accounts. So everyone's following the scammer. And then I literally matched up his Twitter account to the YouTube channel, and it was a direct link. and then to his Telegram, and it all linked up. And I literally checked like 3-4 times to make sure. And then during the interview, it was just like a very sophisticated type interview. And I was like, okay, I had a few red flags, but I was like, maybe he was interested. Said he was interested in Agent Hustle. So I was like, maybe he's just somebody from the AI space who's a researcher. He actually talks about, it's like a YouTube channel that does like some interviews, but mostly it's like a crypto kind of reports. Like they do like project reports kind of stuff. And it's either this person's account has been hacked and they're using deep fakes on the other side of this, or it's just like somebody out in the open with a massive account who's scamming people. It's crazy.
Would you mind putting in the private? I kind of want to know who it is, just in case they would ever reach out to us.
It'll be a few days. I'll do like a whole report. I just want the security team to be able to do what they do first before any of the information gets out. So just waiting on them to finish.
Because I have an idea off the top of my head who I think it is, but I'll wait for a couple days.
All right. Okay. So let's kind of pivot a little bit back to Agent Hustle and last night. If you could explain maybe what that experience was like for someone that covers the space, right? He Connor's a really cool guy. Has like what his experience was maybe with AI type of products, and then what he thought about Agent Hustle.
It was actually the first time I'd ever met Connor before. I wasn't aware of who he was. I think Adam had set it up or Chris had set it up. A really cool guy. Also cool that he has his own YouTube channel, so he gets to kind of, you kind of get the journalistic side of things in that kind of perspective. I think he was more amazed by what it does than anything else. There wasn't too much, hey, try this. It was more of like, oh, this is cool. Oh shit, what is this kind of stuff? And he said he had been looking into AI. I know. I still have to follow him as well. And I was looking at some of his tweets today. It seems like he's been covering the Tau chain. I forget what's it called, the one that you guys talk about a lot. BitTensor. I saw he was talking about that a lot. He's more interested in like infrastructure AI projects. And this is like a DeFi AI, which is like its own kind of sector. But yeah, overall, I'd say great experience. Hustle did pretty well. He even did a few things from an analytics standpoint that I had never even seen before, to be honest. So it seems like he's continually growing and getting better. We're seeing a lot more users post wins consistently. And it's really starting to take shape of what the actual, initial use cases or the initial utility of Agent Hustle, which right now is analyzing information, finding tokens, and buying them automatically. The next piece is obviously the automated selling. And we've actually had a few teams reach out who are interested in building on top of it and integrating that type of experience into, their own kind of products. So we should have like an SDK and API set for any builders who want to basically build this type of experience into their own product. And basically what that is an API system to where you can use the Emblem AI wallets that comes with Agent Hustle to integrate into your own system. So it's been really cool on the last week to talk with more builders who are interested than the kind of retail side of things. So it's a growing product.
Yeah, white gloving could be a big business, man. Could they technically officially white glove it though, or would it still have the Agent Hustle name? Could they rename it and all that stuff?
No, it could be repackaged however you want.
Dude, I just got really excited for you guys because when you have that SDK, that's a whole new B2B right there, and I understand why they want that, especially with the conditional side. It's like trading bots can be confusing to set up and all this crap, but with this, it's even better than a trading bot. It's a trading bot assistant. So you're having conversations and trying to build the strategy based off of, what you're, spitting out to it. Right. So I think that's going to be a big business for you guys. So excited for y'all on that.
Me too. We've talked about the business to business side of Emblem for 3 years since I've been on the team. And it's exactly what you're talking about. Of one of the conversations I had with somebody for 3 hours who has a pretty big platform. They basically had said that they have a bunch of sophisticated bots that they've built, but they basically don't want to have to deal with the overhang of running the APIs and changing bots because, the markets change this way or some APIs change within some other system. And they're like, I don't want to have to deal with this anymore. I have a ton of users and I'd rather just point them to this and give them a few buttons for a few prompts to basically say, go play with it. And they can do it however they want. So it was really cool, eye-opening that finally happens. And Shannon's been really working on this like complete SDK overhaul over the last 2 weeks, which combines Emblem Vault and Agent Hustle. So users can basically, mint collections to any chain that they want. They can open up an Emblem AI wallet with Agent Hustle attached to it and build it in any way that they'd like. So finally coming together here really, really soon. And couldn't be more excited, especially with Agent Hustle now. We've been able to get him a little bit more efficient from an expense standpoint. The bill was running really hot for a few weeks there. And now we're working on making it a lot more efficient. And the automated trading system or conditional trading, it's interchangeable, same thing. That will bring the cost down a lot more. And once you have that, then, you could do a lot more sophisticated things. Instead of having a prompt cost 50 cents, you can have a prompt cost 5 cents or 1 cent at the end of the day. And so what that means is that users then get more use out of the costs, because next month we are going to be changing the structure of the system. Right now, everything is free. But that will not be the case moving forward next month. And we'll announce a little bit more on what that is. But we think that it's pretty in line with where the standards are being set with the rest of the DeFi AI space, and can also apply some unique tokenomics on top of it.
Yeah, and all I can say is to our people that are watching is get some TNSR, maybe soon. That's not financial advice. That's just that's out there. But
it's exciting,
anyway.
dude. I mean,
Yeah.
One final thing here is, kind of some of the leaders in the space, Banker and now Wayfinder, they both have these like subscription models. They go about it in a different way. I think Banker does their subscription in Banker, the token, where Wayfinder does a subscription in Sol, but then you use the prompt token to basically collateralize these paths, so that you can basically get a revenue share of it. And what it means by that is like, so anyone could go in to Wayfinder and build a bridge for Solana to ETH. It's already been built, but this is an example. If you build the Solana to ETH bridge, then whoever built that gets, I think, like 0.25% of the revenue fee. And then people can basically collateralize or stake cash or prompt into that bridge. And then whatever your kind of like staking percentage is like the revenue share that you get of whatever the additional kind of revenue is. And so it gets a little bit confusing there, right? But you can kind of do a lot of fun stuff here. And so we're really trying to explore, what can you do with token gating, intelligence? What can you do with subscriptions? What can you do with revenue share? And then also kind of just being a little bit more familiar with where the industry is going and trying to, be a little bit more comparable to that. You don't want to be completely out of left field when everyone else is doing something, because then you can really isolate yourself.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Last night when I was watching you guys with Connor, you said something that really like kind of stood out to me, was the fact that one of your jobs at Emblem Vault previously was basically customer service, helping people with issues, really kind of getting them through problems and making sure that everything was good. But now with Hustle, that all changed for you. You basically took one of your hats off and gave it to Hustle. Hustle is now your customer service. You tell people straight up, hey, go ask Hustle if you have an issue.
Yeah, it's really nice for the last 2 years or so. And it'll happen again once before we get Agent Hustle implemented onto the Emblem Vault side of things. But you become a founder or a CEO, and you have this vision of like, oh my God, I'm going to direct people to these different type of things. You get to build and work on these projects, which is true. But then the majority of the time, you're just answering ticket support, like spending all this time troubleshooting with people, telling them like, oh, here, take a screenshot, send it to me. Oh, is your VPN on? Right? I try a different browser. Like it takes so much time away.
Clear
where
cache.
It's a pain, dude. It's a pain in the ass. And then once when you move into the AI space, somebody comes in, they're like, hey, we're having an issue with this AI. And you're like, well, ask the AI. They're like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, consider it a person. And so if that person you're having issues with is making the wrong mistake, then ask them, what's wrong? What's the issue? And then because it's AI, they'll literally just tell you exactly what the issue is. And so we've had very minimal, maybe 5 tickets where we've actually had to have some sort of like manual intervention. Like over 90% of them get solved by the person literally just talking to the agent. It's incredibly awesome from the builder side of things.
Yeah, for sure. And what's going to be even better for you guys is that I have a feeling when I have issues with vaulting my ordinals, Mr. Hustle is going to be right there to guide me through that as well. Am I right with that?
That's the plan. Yeah. So with the SDK, right, you can have an Emblem. You can use Emblem Vault plus Agent Hustle in coordination together. We're going to use him within our system. We're kind of actually exploring right now. We're working on first one side project, which we haven't really talked about, which we'll release. But then after that, we're looking to create potentially a new all-in-one experience where we merge Emblem Vision, Emblem Markets, the Emblem SDK, and it might be one other thing on top of that. But then you have that all-on-one interface, and then you integrate Agent Hustle into that as well. So think of something like a Clippy experience, where you can basically move your assets across chain. You can trade. You can you can move your assets across chain. You can trade across chain, and then you have this agent who basically can analyze the entire system. So having that all-in-one experience, I think, is very powerful, because what our mode is comparative to, some of the other DeFi AI projects is we're a lasting company that's also the #1 NFT bridge in the industry. So if you use the intelligence layer to kind of reinforce that, you can really allow users to unlock a lot of capital efficient methods that have not been explored, which to me is incredibly powerful. And I think for the users are probably not really aware of what's possible. But for one example, and I've used it on the show before, if we deploy a Bitcoin Puppets collection on every single chain, you could just have Agent Hustle read your wallet and say, review all of my ordinals and tell me where the highest bid is for these assets. And he'll say, oh, look, there is a bid for 10 ETH for your Taproot Wizard on base. There's there's a bid for, I don't know, you'll say whatever the 0.2 Bitcoin or 0.2 SBTC on stacks. And then he'll say, would you like me to vault this asset and accept the bid for you? And you could just say yes, and he just does it all for you. So pretty exciting. I know a lot of people kind of have the other view, and we saw this with Magic Eden with their Slingshot acquisition, which I think is really exciting, where they're basically saying, you don't have to move your assets across chain. You can just keep your assets on the same chain and purchase with any asset. And we'll do basically the custodial kind of on-off ramp swapping in the background, which is great. For us, it's more about kind of what Leonidas harps on, of like putting dog in as many ecosystems as possible, and allowing users of that native ecosystem to really experience it. So like, if you've ever sold something on Amazon or Facebook Marketplace or eBay or Etsy, right? You don't just list it on eBay. If you're selling a Pokemon card, you go list it on eBay, you go list it on Etsy, you go list it on any marketplace that you can. And that's kind of like what Emblem Vault's doing, is it's allowing you to list your Bitcoin Puppet in every single ecosystem, rather than hoping that people come to a single marketplace to purchase it in any type of asset. I do think both methods have a lot of room to grow and really increase the size of that market share. But the route that we're going, I think, is just completely glossed over and has never even been attempted. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting stuff. I can't wait. In a sense, you just brought up Slingshot and kind of this plan to put like dog everywhere, but it's not just dog, it's $1 billion cat too, and these other top runes. And I had this vision, I want to say like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, that like that is going to work in this branding type of strategy that they're not even thinking about right now. They just want people to buy it. But like from a branding perspective, Emblem Vault's going to be doing something very similar with the vaulting. You know what I mean? And I think maybe this wouldn't have worked probably the same way last cycle. You guys actually experienced. You did have your core diehards with the rare Pepes and stuff, but it's like the time is now for something like this, right?
Yeah, I think I try to look at things in cycles and kind of like main narratives. And I've said this many times, so I apologize for anyone who's heard this like 10 times. But the 2021 cycle is really kind of the utility cycle that was leveraged through NFTs, right? You tried to do token gates. You tried to use your NFTs as tickets. You tried to use them as membership passes, mint passes, like people were in-game assets, right? All kinds of different things. This last cycle was really all about attention. It was SocialFi, it was meme coins, it was like kind of the proliferation of live streaming. Whereas like last cycle was kind of all around like Twitter Spaces. And then I think this next cycle is really all about interoperability and intelligence, because these AI agents, they have no bounds to where they want to go. They're not a maxi of any chain. They're basically a yield optimizer and efficient. They take the raw data that's there, they interpret it, and they make the best informed decision. There's really no emotion attached to it, at least at this point. And so they're going to be using bridges. And there's, 50 to 100 different fungible token bridges. And there's really 2 or 3 NFT bridges. So our goal is to basically just be the all-in-one NFT bridge for the AI agents to go ahead and use this to basically ship packages across. And the intelligence kind of layer will probably unlock even more opportunities that we didn't even as a team really consider, which makes it really, really exciting moving forward, and really just allow users and creators and even teams to kind of proliferate that idea.
Yeah, 100%. And like today, I bridged to Cardano from Solana.
Nice.
I bridged from Bitcoin to Solana to Cardano, just to kind of test it out. And I never knew that I wanted dog on Cardano until today. So it's like, I don't know. I want my puppet on Abstract until tomorrow, right? So I mean, what you guys are building is definitely something where now it gives opportunity to builders to build for collections like puppets and collections like node monkeys and wizards and everything else, right? It actually opens up for builders now that you guys can bring ordinals to these other chains. Just for instance, people can now go after the dog community, which is 100,000 holders, and say, hey, we have a DeFi project for dog holders, right? So there's now it opens up so much for builders.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's why is it that fungible tokens get to import and export value across chain, but you can't do the same thing with the value of NFTs? Like, why does that not exist? Even though it does in the real world, people import, export vehicles, import, export art, import, export trading cards, legal contracts, everything of sorts. And that is a gigantic market in the real world. Literally 7.5 to 10% of the global GDP is the shipping industry, international and domestic, between Amazon, shipping containers, etc. Obviously, the fungible token market, comparable into the real world, would be like remittances and Swift and stuff, is much larger. But you're saying in the real world, it's literally a $10 trillion industry. And so in crypto, generally things get to be much larger than what it is in the real world. Obviously, that could be 10 to 20 years away from that actually kind of playing out. But why is that not existing? And we're starting to see that now as also probably another main thing that's going to be another main sector that'll be like a no shit kind of idea is the chain abstracted applications, which we're already starting to see. And it seems like the Bitcoin ecosystem is really leading that charge, where finally, right, you guys have been hammering at it for 2 years. We have for even longer than that. Is why don't you use the strength of every chain or the strengths of each chain to build a superior product? And this is exactly kind of what like Cardano is trying to do. This is what Dog's trying to do, right? Put Dog in as many places as possible. Let the builders use that value or use the attention of the community to try to build something cool. Odin Fund is doing something really great. We'll see Arch pop up here in the next few months. Obviously, Rune Shot, or is it Rune Mine? They're using Near for some of their stuff.
Yep.
And I'm excited to see what happens with Cardano. I mean, granted, Charles is 37, looks like he's 80. And that, a lot of
He's
people
37?
I thought he
Yeah.
was a grandpa.
Dude,
He's
I'm
37.
I was kidding.
Yeah.
Wild.
He's 37. It's crazy. Insane,
He
dude.
looks like he's 55 minimum.
It's It's crazy, dude. Yeah, he's literally just like 4 years older than me. Right? It's like the guy looks like he's been through the ringer, like he was in World War II. It's insane. But Cardano is this kind of like
Strange.
it's kind of
Strange.
Cardano is kind of like this chain abstracted protocol itself. It's UTXO, it has smart contracts, it's heavily underutilized and underexplored, and maybe it's just because it's a meme at this point. But to put Dog over there and to allow these Cardano builders to kind of really experiment with something where they have a lot of experience, right? Like the Fluid token guys. It's exciting. It's something to watch because it finally gives some of these ecosystems the ability to really zone in, really hyper focus on one specific thing. I do think like the death of general purpose layer 1s and general purpose layer 2s are kind of near the end as things like abstract kind of come in, as things like Odin Fund, as things like Arch, and as things like Emblem and stuff kind of continue to build.
Yeah.
Amen.
And also you have to remember like the last 4 years after last cycle, there was everybody wants it was so tribalistic, right? For your chain, if you were one of the diehards that basically you just invest a lot of money in that coin, right? The XRP people, the Cardanos, and they're constantly fighting for their relevancy, right? And so I love the fact that I was talking to Shizzy about this. There hasn't really been a token standard that you're not able to have some sort of decentralized AMM on the main chain that has success outside of it, right? But runes, it could be that with Bitcoin, and so it's like it's I just think it's awesome that like if this happens, which it seems like it is like Bitcoin limitations is pushing use cases for other chains to service it, and now you're having the chain abstraction concept be adopted, because I'm hearing less and less crying maximalists about chain abstractions lately, probably because Odin Fund has gotten a lot of attention saying, okay, well, we don't have to upgrade the chain, we don't have to put all these things at risk. So chain abstraction to me is the most under valued I guess like innovation.
Yeah, it's like an idea, right?
Yeah,
it's an idea. I mean, chain abstraction, or you call it token abstraction, like Emblem itself, or if you just kind of generalize it as an abstraction, right? It's just this idea that like you don't even need to know what chain is on in the background. Like the user can just go ahead and use this application, and you don't need to know that there's like 5 different chains that are merged into one. Emblem is this idea of like token abstraction, right? It doesn't matter if you have your Bitcoin NFT on Ethereum, or your Bitcoin NFT on Abstract, or your Bitcoin NFT on Solana. You don't even need to know it's a Bitcoin NFT. You just need to know it's a Rare Pepe or a Bitcoin Puppet or Taproot Wizard or whatever the kind of case is. And so chain abstraction, right? Like Odin Fund, it's like, it's a Bitcoin focused application, but it's using ICP in the background. And so a lot of people were not fans of it. I do think the maximalist and tribalistic kind of perspective is really what was pushing against it. Like, oh, it has to be on chain or whatever. And I think Magic Eden with the Slingshot acquisition is really kind of the final death knell to the kind of like on-chain Bitcoin maximalists, because you're going to be purchasing runes with USDC and Tether and Solana. PayPal. And obvious and PayPal and Apple Pay and all these other kind of mechanisms. And obviously the bags are going to go up because more people are going to have access, and that's going to be kind of the end of that. And, Slingshot is a centralized product, and there's no way that people are going to, especially with kind of the newer age people coming in, there's no way you're going to say, yeah, I'm not going to sell my Taproot Wizard for $100,000 just because somebody is giving me a USD or somebody's giving me Ethereum or whatever the kind of case is. It's just, it's a highly unlikely. And so I applaud Magic Eden for kind of going through with it, because if somebody was going to do it and really kind of convert everyone into this idea, the kind of combo shot of Odin Fun and Slingshot on Magic Eden, I think is really kind of the end of that era.
Yeah, and Slingshot's it's valued at $1.4 billion, right?
It is. I didn't even see.
It's pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
2 years ago, there was some. They did their seed round with Coinbase Ventures and a couple other places.
Wow.
They put about, I think it was like $34 million in, and then they're up, tenfold on their investment.
Where was that valuation at? Where'd you see that?
I checked ChatGPT. Just type ChatGPT. It's like what is Slingshot's valuation. They gave me 1.4. So I don't know if it's wrong or not, but that's kind of what it said. And that wouldn't shock me. I mean, you see shittier projects over $1 billion, right? So but when
was the seed round?
How much do you think? 2 years ago, 2022.
Okay.
So who knows what they even were back then, right?
Yeah.
What they are now. I mean, I didn't hear about them until like 6 months ago, and now the Magic Eden acquisition. I can't imagine how much Magic Eden paid for this. So
who's cheering for their success though? who invested in
Coinbase.
the seed round? Exactly.
Coinbase.
Yeah, I saw Coinbase has done a few kind of venture rounds, right? They invested in Satflow. They were invested in, was it Sat Terminal? I think they're kind of poking around in it. I think Runes it's still, people hate Runes. Runes is a $1 billion protocol. I think the community has decided that Runes is the winning standard, no matter how many times people will like to package it, because people are building on top of Runes with all these different applications. It seems like I've been kind of reading that it doesn't seem like Opcat is the next kind of upgrade. That's who I thought like their catnip standard may have been like the only real competitor to Runes. I know BRC 2.0 is coming, and maybe the East still adopts it, but I think it's hard to see Runes not be the winner here. And I think it's like OpCTV plus like something else seems to be like what's the next standard. And
how confident are you in that, by the way?
I'm pretty confident. I mean, this is the thesis that we had at Emblem last year, was that Runes was going to be the winner. That's why we decided to migrate our token. What
I meant OpCTV getting through.
I haven't read too much on it. I just see that from larger accounts that this seems to be the way that the activation and signaling is towards this combo of that, and then maybe Opcat comes next, but. My thesis was that the reason why Taproot Wizards did the sale now is because they're aware of this and they need to extend their runway by a few years to ensure that Opcat makes it through. And there's, you have Starkware and some of these other companies coming through, and I'd like to see Opcat there. I'd like to see a few different upgrades, but it's a gigantic political spectrum on Bitcoin, and so it's not easy to do. I like the Taproot Wizard guys. I don't think they're extractive as people make it out to be. Yeah, maybe they like raised more money than they should have, but they're obviously trying to build something quite large and quite ambitious. And sometimes you need that type of capital. And people wanted Taproot Wizard. So hey, if the market wants it, then fuck it, let them have it.
Yeah, I mean, they sold out, right? So it's up to the market to decide if that's their valuation, and it was, right? So, I mean, it is what it is. If you can't call someone everyone should try to get as much as they possibly can for their product, and that's the end of it. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like it, don't buy it, and if they don't sell out, then that's on them. They went too high. So I just don't see the.
It's not like they're tricking them.
Company. No, it's like they're giving you an asset.
Yeah, they're acting like they have like this cobra that they're
like
mesmerizing people. I'm just like, bro, you have the ability to click your mouse and mint or not. So come on, let's be adults.
So real quick though, I kind of want to fix myself. So I've asked Chat to use more questions. So now Magic Eden is valued at like 1.4 after the acquisition. So it's between the Magic Eden sold them between 50 and 100 million, but they're saying the acquisition is not out there yet. So it's not public. So
what
between
it seems to be for most of these,
100 million. Yeah.
But we'll see. Props to the founders. Props to Magic Eden, man. They raised really big. They're really ambitious, and they basically, capitalized when OpenSea was being stagnant, and they've really gone in a cool direction. I think a lot of the people on the team are really cool. They're really kind to people. At least they've been to me so far. And they've been thinking about the users foremost, and it feels like they're very embedded into the culture. So it was a really cool move. Even on kind of a larger scale, the M&A that's been happening in crypto, I think, is very alluring, and that it's really signaling that the industry's maturing, and I think it's even a little bit more captivating the different direction that some of these industries are going, or sectors, right? So, like, for example, Magic Eden and Jupiter, right? Magic Eden's a NFT marketplace. Jupiter is an aggregator. They both acquired Moonshot and Slingshot, which is the same things. They're basically on-off ramp, for tokens. You saw Ripple acquired a prime broker because they want to be, and now they're pivoting to using the Ripple stablecoin as the bank intermediary. So they're kind of making a little bit of a pivot, but they're showing the institutional kind of side of things. Saw Kraken acquired a futures platform because they want to be, they want to compete with Coinbase. Coinbase has a futures platform already. And then you're seeing TradFi companies acquire different types of stablecoin infrastructure, right? Because they want to be basically the Swift of the world. So you just see everything just kind of getting larger and larger and larger on different scale. I suspect in a few years here, you're going to see some very large acquisitions, like either something like a Magic Eden getting acquired, or something like a Coinbase potentially, getting bought out on the public markets. I wouldn't be surprised, right? You could see things like BlackRock or Fidelity coming in, making, buying an OpenSea, or just making some like very large acquisitions. So we'll see, but it seems like that's kind of where this is headed over the next few years.
Yeah. Shizzy asked me a couple of times about the Slingshot situation, and I'm curious about your opinion. He was like, think about like if you were a part of that startup, selling at, like, let's say if they evaluate them at 50 to 100 million, they ask for 100. Do you feel like that would be like a too early of a getting out?
I mean, think about where we are right now, right, in the bear market. Like, in 6 months, who knows where we're going to be?
Because that purchase is really small compared to like the Web 2 purchases that eventually came out with like Vines and those other ones, right? Or like a Snapchat or something like that. So, what's your perspective?
It's a good question. We have these conversations internally at Emblem every once in a while as well. Of, as a company and a team, you have to decide, are we going to go out and build this entire thing and scale it up and basically compete with everyone? And then also kind of what is the limiting factor there, right? What's your runway? What's the size of your team? Do you believe in your team? What's the market look like, et cetera? Or you look at it and say, hey, if there's a company or a sector that's starting to acquire things in my industry, do we have a better long-term chance of getting acquired, the founders, make some capital, but then also build with the company and you have the opportunity to build an even larger vision than you ever wanted, right? Obviously, the name Slingshot will probably change at some point, but they probably got equity into Magic Eden. They got paid out probably some dollars in ME token, and they probably are getting a pretty good position within the company to kind of grow that. And for every team, that seems to be kind of the idea. So I applaud them. It was probably one of those, hey, Moonshot just got acquired pretty recently by Jupiter. So it's like, are we going to be able to compete with Jupiter alone? Probably not, since every single transaction on Solana runs through Jupiter. And they're like, hey, to survive, we have to partner with somebody. And so I saw that Vo from Magic Eden had said that she had been working on the deal for 6 months to a year at some point.
Wow.
And Slingshot was probably holding off until they saw that acquisition. They're like, oh, fuck, right? There's no way we compete with Jupiter with just these limited resources. We need to team up with somebody.
Mm-hmm. And Yagobi actually made a good point when I asked him. He said, now the founder has a crap load of money. And as a founder, a lot of founders are serial founders, right? They'll take that money now and he'll go drop, $750K into his next one and potentially have another 10,000x, right? And people are going to invest in the guy who started Slingshot.
Yep.
right? So it just alone, now you have a name, now you have capital, now you have so much more to build the next thing. So that actually could be even bigger than Slingshot was. And potentially, hey, who knows? It gets to 100 million, he sells again, and he's serial entrepreneur. This is what these guys do. That's what the guy from Uber did. Now he has like 6 other companies that he's founded, right? So
yeah, again, from the Emblem side, we think about this as well. I would love to go out and build this whole thing out. I think Emblem is kind of like the all-encompassing disruptor. It can kind of really gobble up and be interchangeable in any industry, whether it's bridging, marketplace, DeFi, NFTs. There's really an opportunity. Futures platforms. There's an opportunity in everything. We have a small team. We haven't raised any VC capital because there's no VCs that have really been interested in what we've built up until kind of recently with the AI addition to the product. But if there's an opportunity that comes where there's an acquisition and it gives us the runway and the resources to build out that vision, and if I saw it of like, hey, we could build out that vision of it being the gigantic disruptor in 2 years with this team versus trying to do it for 8 years on our own, right? You would be kind of, you'd be dumb to not even consider it at the time. So the opportunities always seem to present themselves differently. And obviously people want to get paid as well and build out visions. I have other visions that I want to do in the crypto industry and outside of the crypto industry. And so those kind of exits are important. And I think it's just overall the M&A stuff is really good to have in crypto. It hasn't happened for a long time, but it's giving us real direction on where it's going. And crypto has kind of lacked direction, it seemed like, over the last few years. And I'm not talking specifically about meme coins. I'm just talking about like, what's the purpose of the industry? What are the kind of like applications people want? What is like the traditional world interested in? And we're starting to see signs of where that's going. So just could not be more bullish on all the M&A stuff that's happened.
Yeah, 100%. I kind of want to circle back to Solana and Agent Hustle and everything real quick before we let you go, because this is something that's kind of been bothering me. So Circle mints additional 250 million USDC on Solana, bringing the total to 12.25 billion. I was like, where the hell is this money going? And then I started looking into it, and the surge in USDC supply aligns with the network growing DeFi activity. Solana now ranks as in centralized exchange DEX volume with over 6.2 billion in total value locked. Right, so I went over to DeFi Llama, and obviously you mentioned Jupiter. They have a lot of different places with billions of dollars in value. So that kind of brings me back to Agent Hustle. I'm not somebody who's going to be like playing with meme coins. Like I'm not somebody who's playing the pump fund gambling game. That's just not my expertise. It's not what I like to do. But I am somebody who likes to do DeFi, and I don't have time to look at all these Solana projects and kind of find the best yield and stuff. But that's something that Agent Hustle could help me with, and that's potentially something he can do right now for me, right? Can I have him go and stake my USDC and earn me the best yield, or is there something in the process?
It's in the process. We haven't integrated the staking component. The best way to kind of look at how these DeFi platforms work, or just AI in general, is you have to build what's kind of like these toolboxes for the agent for these different things. So, for example, and this is just a very general kind of explanation. Yeah. There's like a swaps toolbox. There's an LP toolbox. There's a analytics toolbox. There's a pump fund toolbox. And so whatever the user's input is, gives the agent itself the path to access these different toolboxes. And sometimes they'll do multiple of them at a time. So the kind of DeFi toolbox for Solana, we haven't really built out yet. And what the toolboxes are is generally an aggregation of a bunch of different APIs that's kind of combined with some training and inference on how to go about accessing these different APIs. And what I've learned about Solana is the API ecosystem is a fucking mess, dude. It is not anything like Ethereum to where there's kind of this all-in-one product. I know that's what Helios is trying to build, and I have a respect for it, but it is tough. It's like you need, if you want to get like the pre-bonded token infrastructure, you have to go to this like one kind of like little small single service kind of product. If you want like real-time market data, then it's like what type of real-time market data do you want? This one has market cap. This one doesn't have market cap. It's crazy on it. So Ethereum, it's literally pretty much all in one because it's been around for so long. And we do want to add the kind of the next steps of what we're taking. And maybe this is like the easiest way to kind of describe it. We're going to try to build out the full suite of Solana first, and then do finish the Telegram bot, and then move over to Bitcoin. So right now we're building a few tool sets, DCA, limit orders, copy trader. And then on the agent side of things, we're building the automated system. So combining all of that gives everyone kind of the tools that they're looking for to where Agent Hustle can find a token, buy a token, and sell it for you based off of XYZ things that you give them. And then after that, we want to integrate like being able to mint tokens. You have to integrate the kind of NFT infrastructure, integrate all of the DeFi things, integrate, leverage trading. You got to integrate, all these, I guess, the state, kind of like Solana staking. And there's all these kind of like ancillary lending, like borrowing and lending and yield farming and all these different things. So it is the goal. Us being a small team, we kind of have to be a little bit more picky and choosy with the way that we dedicate our resources. Unlike some of the other teams who have, 10 times the amount of people working on it, which is okay because I think we've kind of really maintained our competitiveness with being probably the smallest team of all of them. But it's definitely the goal. And then once that's kind of all built out, maybe a month or two away, then we work on the Bitcoin ecosystem and Ethereum ecosystem. I'm more excited about Bitcoin side. Yeah. Ethereum's obviously a little bit easier to build since a lot of the infrastructure is really already there. But my heart's in the Bitcoin ecosystem. It's still one of the more interesting native ecosystems across the industry, in my opinion.
Love it. Yeah. So Coinbase Ventures, man, get your ass out of here, man, and start getting with them involved. But Jake, man, it's been absolutely amazing, man. Really appreciate you giving us time and kind of giving our audience kind of the first looks into what you guys are building with Hustle and the jump feature with the vaults and stuff. Really excited for what you guys are building. But love to give you a few more minutes to talk to the audience.
I would just say look for some updates next week. We are working on launching our bulk minting tool, launching on Base from Emblem Vault side of things. Agent Hustle, we're just going to continue adding new tooling and features. The automated system and a new kind of payment option will be coming next month at some point, maybe like the beginning to the middle of next month. And then from there, it's party time. It's where we're finally going to be aligned with our token holders, the platform users, and et cetera. And kind of some final stats here for Agent Hustle. We just added some kind of like analytics on the back end pretty recently. And it looks like we're getting about 500 active users per week. It's been alive for 3 weeks. About a little over 3,000 page visits a week. Getting about 300 prompts per hour, which is pretty good. And the average user session is about 20 minutes. So anytime anyone comes to the website, they're on it for about 20 minutes at a time, which is quite large and it's quite good comparative to a lot of other applications where users are kind of in and out. So it means that it's sticky. People like to sit there and talk with them and ask him questions that aren't even just crypto. Like they'll ask him about strategies and ask him about philosophy and different types of stuff like that. Somebody's even coding with him right now. So the lot of opportunity out there, unlimited amount of opportunity, to be honest. And we're going to continue to move forward. So just reach out to us, go to agenthustle.ai, give it a try, get ahead of where the market is going. AI is not going away. It's only going to continue to be more deeply entrenched within the industry. And it's not something you want to be. It's going to completely radicalize, how users are trading, users are analyzing information, and how different types of ecosystems attract liquidity. So if you're going to be in this industry for a long time, use these products, become familiar, or you're going to fall behind.
Yeah, man, 100%. And I can't wait to ask him like astrology questions, and I'd be like, "Hey, when Jupiter is over here, sell everything for me, all right?" Now, I don't know anything about it, but
Dude, you could
it's gonna
take
be pretty
you
cool.
could you could take Erin's Erin, that's Casey's girlfriend, right? You could take kind of her astrological Bitcoin positions. You could literally screenshot it, post it in Agent Hustle, and ask him what he thinks. Like you literally do that right now.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right, Jake. Well, appreciate you as always, and appreciate Emblem always having someone representing you guys every Friday. Can't wait till next week, and we will talk to you soon, sir.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Always appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.
All right, guys. We got 592 people. I kind of want to sit here and wait for 600. We're so close, but we got things to do. We got to get out of here. Appreciate every one of you guys, man. 591 of you guys in here on a Friday with us, hanging out, hanging with Jake. Fluid Friday. I feel like it's been a long time since we started this show, but I really appreciate everyone hanging out with us.
Yeah, for sure. And we appreciate, gosh, almost 600. That's crazy. But we appreciate each and every one of you guys. And if you could check out our partners, we would greatly appreciate that, as well, as that helps us continually do what we love to do. And that's try to educate you guys as much as possible. Emblem Vault, we just talked about these guys. They are crushing it. They are the interoperability tooling for ordinals. You're going to be able to jump your puppets, node monks, frogs from Bitcoin Layer 1 to Merlin to Base to Abstract, Solana, and eventually to Bitcoin. And you can use Agent Hustle to help you do that. You don't have to do the tedious task of doing it yourself. And I'm sure it's not that tedious, but everybody wants time back, right? So you can use Hustle to help you with that. Also, you're going to be able to use him to trade for you eventually in the Bitcoin ecosystem as well, to purchase runes, ordinals, stuff like that. And don't forget, they have their TGE for their runes in September. You can participate in a pre-sale type environment on OpenSea right now. The purchase would be an ERC 721. All you got to do is search Emblem Founder Vault Keys. And once that TGE comes in September, you will get instructions on how to get the runes into your Bitcoin wallet. Super exciting stuff, guys. You can learn all about this at emblem.vision. And BetBTC is the predictions marketplace of the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet, some Bitcoin, and 6 Bitcoin blocks, and you can place bets in their markets right away. They have their Blitz markets, which are 10-minute markets, 10-minute countdown to select if you want Bitcoin, BNB, or Solana. You could choose to go up or down. So it's kind of like using leverage, right? Or perps. But it's a short version, just kind of like a blitz version, which is why they named it that. But I recommend waiting till that clock gets down close to the 1 minute to lock in your price and what you want to do. And then you have to wait an additional 10 minutes, and then you get either paid out if you win or you lose. But be responsible with that, of course, guys. And they have other markets on there, sports market and other markets relating to the world and the crypto space as well. You can learn all about that at betbtc.win. And Autura Finance, the perps and leverage decks of the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to soon be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungibles on Hemi Bitcoin Layer 2, which is backed by Binance Labs. You're going to be able to trade Sats, Ordi, Doggo to the Moon, Billy Cat, stuff like that, as well as tokens that are popular outside of the ecosystem, as in XRP, Tau, Ethereum. You can actually participate in a non-trading way by providing liquidity for their vaults, so you can earn that way as well. But you can learn about everything Autura at Autura.finance. And Fluid Tokens were the first to offer staking vaults on Bitcoin Layer 1 to retail users, guys. We went over them today. Make sure you're paying attention to when your staking vault expires so you can actually claim your reward along with getting your items back, all in one transaction as well. But if you are founder of an ordinal collection or etched a rune with an established community and you'd like to get a staking vault for your community, you can reach over to their Discord and reach out to them. They will get back to you. They have team members constantly in there to answer questions, guys. So exciting stuff there. Don't forget about their upcoming bridge from Bitcoin to Cardano called Aquarium. So you're going to be able to do what we did today, except for take out the Solana part and go directly from Bitcoin to Cardano. Super exciting stuff. Learn about Fluid at fluidtokens.com. And Merlin Chain, they are the #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. These guys have been focusing a lot on the AI side. So their AI wizard point 0.3 should be available very soon. But doing very exciting stuff, guys. If you want to participate in helping secure the chain and you have Merlin chain tokens, you can actually stake those for 15% APR. Also, they will be adding Bitcoin to help secure the chain as well. You can actually use merlinswap.org to swap Doggo to the Moon, because that's another place that Dog is currently existing. But you can learn about Merlin at merlinchain.io. And lastly, but not least, don't forget about our integrated partners in Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, as well as their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker. We will let you guys know next time we live stream. That's typically on a Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, but we'll give you a heads up the next time we do that. Anybody can play. Everybody's invited. All you need is a compatible wallet. So go over to their website and see what they accept there. All Bitcoin wallets, I believe, and maybe Phantom and MetaMask. And Ordinal Hive is your Ordinal aggregator marketplace. The cheapest Ordinals around will be on Ordinal Hive, Bitcoin Layer 1 and Layer 2 on Merlin. And don't forget about their trading tools like Mempool Insights, where you can grab something someone accidentally fat-fingered and mispriced. Sucks for them, but it doesn't suck for you. We thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. I'm gonna hit on quick comments real quick. One more Danny Boy in here, GM, Chris Dev. Thank you so much for watching, buddy. He was on the show last week. Connor OnChain. I'm thinking about having Connor on as a special guest one day. So we're in the talks of having that on. So that should be really cool. Matt's is here and super fan. Appreciate every single one of you guys every single day, man. It really helps us big time. But guys, if you have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. If you guys need a VPN, we have the #1 VPN that I use, which is Nord. Nord is absolutely amazing because I'm able to switch where I want to be. Sometimes I'm in Sweden, sometimes I'm in Amsterdam, sometimes I'm in El Salvador, depending on how I feel that way. It actually depends on how that network is treating my internet service, right? I just jumped to the fastest one. I'd love that option that it gives you. But guys, there's free VPNs out there. Free ones. Try them out. I bet you when you tried Nord, you'll be like, oh, wow, this is a way better experience. That's what happened to me. I kept going to different ones, but always came back to Nord. And you guys can get it for $3 a month. I think it's $36 for the year. That's what I did. Or you can pay $10 a month, which don't do that. Use our link, guys. Pay the $3. And if you guys are going to Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. But do not wait until May to get your tickets, guys. Get them in April. It's your last chance to get them the cheapest possible. If you've been following us for a while, you know we've been talking about this for about 6 to 8 months now. Get your tickets now, guys. If you're going, make sure you guys are getting your tickets through us as well. Click our link and click our store tab, guys. It'll take you to our Shopify, all done through a third party. We're going to be adding more and more stuff here. We did the upgrade now, OnChain Revolution. Check out a lot of our stuff. We are going to be taking off the Ordinal Revolution stuff. So if you want to be that OG, you want to show up to an event in an Ordinal Revolution shirt and get our respect and be like, holy shit, like you're an OOG. These will be up here for a limited time. We will be taking these down soon. So once they're gone, they're gone. There will never be Ordinal Revolution merch on here ever again. But if you do have one, guys, you are going to be considered an OG to us. And who knows what we'll do for the holders of this merch, man. But definitely appreciate every single one of you guys who have bought shirts, have looked at our stuff, or even taken the time out to check out our merch here. It really means a lot. And if you do want to add some stuff, just let us know. We can add your PFP. We can add whatever you guys want. You can walk around with your PFP on your shirt through our third party here. Just let us know, and we can put it on there. We can price it at the amount that you want, and we can throw you a couple bucks if they get sold. Just let us know if you guys want to participate in that. Reach out to me at Shizzy OnChain. Reach out to Yagobi at Yagobiverse or at OnChain Rev on X. But yeah, guys, that's our show. We really appreciate you guys. All 606 people, bro. Congratulations on that, man. 606 on a Friday. Really awesome. But guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until Monday.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed, gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and arching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction.